welcome everyone who is here for the climate change event hosted by Kiwi Buddy and Auckland Grammar School. So before we start today, I would like to do a quick recap of past Kiwi Buddy events, and here is a summary of big monthly events and English club events. So we have August, September, October, and November. As you can see here, so many events. Starting with August. So the name of every big event will be on the left here, and you can see awards winner name will be at the bottom left corner. So that's where you can track it. So August big event with taboos. We approach a quite interesting aspect about both New Zealand culture and Vietnamese culture. In September, there are quite a few of English club events, as you can see here, and they went really well as well. And in September, we have the big event Shark Tank hosted by PIMS, Kiwi Buddy, and partners. We had so much fun, and I really enjoyed the process of designing poster and did the slides for this event. And I felt like everyone interacted well with each other too. It was a blast. In October, there are many English club events too, and I didn't get the chance to join all of them since during this time of the year I have a lot happening. But I've heard a lot from Miss Nga, and she said these events have amazing results too. CHA Sport Challenge, we have so many awards and so many awards winner as well. In November, Kiwi and Sala was super fun. We hosted this event with FPT University, and we also had the chance to welcome the ambassador. And in this event, we also discussed about climate change too. And here are the winners from Kiwi and Sala events. Here is our ambassador, and we did discuss something about climate change, which we're also doing today. And I'm really excited to see what we can actually extend more about this issue. Last but not least, I would like to talk about the differences between SLI Focus, Road to Success, and Kiwi Buddy, since I feel like there might be some confusion since we have quite similar logos, but it is all by Mrs. Nga Blanchard here. If you would like to join our network where you can find more interesting events like the Kiwi Buddy, you can download the Road to Success app, create the free account easily, and click on clubs, join Kiwi Buddy, and just enjoy it. So big thanks to our amazing partners. And here are the links for you to have easy access to our clubs. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Hạnh Ngân. And we are still 6 minutes away from the beginning of our events, and I can see a lot of our partners and students are here already. While we are waiting for everybody, I think I would like to get started now because we have more teams for the debates, and I'd like to spend quite a lot of time on our students because they are working very hard in preparation for the debate. Before I get started, I'd like to invite everyone in the audience. Can you please raise hand, and if you would like to be promoted to the panelists. When you are in the panelists, you will be able to turn on your video, and also our team member will allow everyone to speak as well. So during the session, please feel free to unmute yourself when you engage with our teacher today, and also you can mute yourself when you can hear like the background noises. So we are not the events is not affected by the noise. And also turn on the video and feel free to engage today. We have 12 partner schools today from Vietnam and in New Zealand. So it's great time for everyone to have fun. So students, get ready and have great time today. Now I'd like to get started with our events 4 minutes earlier. All right. Kia ora from New Zealand is how we say hello, and welcome our wonderful school partners, teachers, students from Vietnam and New Zealand to our season 7 of Kiwi Buddy events. And it is my privilege to have one of the best schools in New Zealand to lead this climate change event. It's Auckland Grammar School. As you know, climate change has been a huge focus by the governments, organizations, agencies, corporations, businesses, and individuals. Young generation is our future, and it's a great way to involve them in what matters to the world and hear them say and sharing the viewpoints. Kiwi Buddy is proud to create an educational community for our young generations, and so proud to have you here today. Now, I would like to invite, as we have many new partners today, so lots of you don't know enough yet about Kiwi Buddy. So I would like to invite you to look at the video done by Hạnh Ngân, who is the Kiwi Buddy ambassador. Please, Hạnh Ngân, turn on the video. Thank you.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn. Mình là Hạnh Ngân đến từ Việt Nam.
Hello everyone, I'm Hạnh Ngân from Vietnam. I'm currently 19 and I'm really proud to be the Kiwi Buddy ambassador representing the Road to Success team in Vietnam. And today I will be giving you some basic information on the Kiwi Buddy program. So the Kiwi Buddy program is founded by Mrs. Ngao Blanchard.
Yes, and wine and soft drinks for the children and water.
Schools and universities. She is also one of the people that fall in love with New Zealand. We now run on the Road to Success app, which you can easily find on App Store or Google Play. This program will include connecting and making Kiwi/Vietnamese friends. We will also be engaging with New Zealand schools, intuition, and university. There will also be online events, workshop, cultural exchange, and activities led by our teams of partners and students. To bring the experience of studying in New Zealand closer to Vietnamese students and backwards, we have partners from both University and School of Vietnam and New Zealand. So I hope you would join and tell your friends to join too, because along with all of the amazing activities that we have already organized for you, you will be the first one to learn about New Zealand scholarships if you're interested. So yeah, that is some basic info on Kiwi Buddies, and thank you for listening.
Lovely, thank you very much. And hopefully you have some ideas about what Kiwi Buddy is all about. And we have a lot more other activities as well and other clubs in 2022. So now I'd like to invite you to listen to a video from Auckland Grammar School.
As Headmaster of Auckland Grammar School, I wish you good health and prosperity in the new year of the goat. I also recognise the 40 years of friendship that has existed between New Zealand and Vietnam. New Zealand is a great place to be educated and to live, and we warmly welcome you to visit Auckland Grammar School to be educated in a leading educational institution. At Auckland Grammar School in New Zealand, you're welcome to join other Vietnamese students who have experienced considerable success in their time here. At Auckland Grammar School, you'll find an international department who provides you with strong support and guidance from our teachers and support staff members. Being educated at Auckland Grammar School will set you apart from your peers and prepare you well for international universities. Join us in Auckland, New Zealand. Start your future now.
Lovely, thank you very much. And I would like to have a couple of words introductions about Auckland Grammar School. It's one of the New Zealand leading secondary schools with a reputation for all-round excellence in all aspects, from academics, sports, multicultural. The school offers both academics programs in NCEA and Cambridge High School in Cambridge. Auckland Grammar and their students have won top performing Cambridge School with 9 special awards in Cambridge examinations. And of which like 3 top in the world awards and 4 top in New Zealand awards and 2 high achievement awards. And also Auckland Grammar School is one of the top 3 performing schools in the country in NZQA scholarship examinations, after the student earned 161 individual scholarship awards in 2022, which is absolutely amazing. And today, I would like to introduce a very special person who is Auckland Grammar students, and he won the New Zealand scholarship to study at Auckland Grammar School. Prior to that, he was Nguyễn Siêu student. So I'd like to introduce John Nguyen, who's here with us today to have a few words to share with us about his experience at Auckland Grammar School.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nguyen Viet Anh, also known as John. Yeah, I was a Nguyen Siêu student before I came into Auckland Grammar in the middle of 2019, which opened my eyes to quite a lot of cool things. Now, a little bit about AGS. AGS is a boy-only school with only one exception in the case of Kate Edger in 1874. I might be wrong, my memory might be a bit off, so Mr. Easingwood would be happy to correct me. When I first came over, my first impression was that the school is so big, like, wow, it's huge. I've never seen anything like that. The Great Hall is like something out of Harry Potter. Yeah, basically everything was very pretty and it was very beautiful. Now, the school system itself, I'd say that it's pretty close to the Vietnamese system in terms of teaching. It meant that we are close to home. Now, the examination style and the number of major exams in a normal school year is pretty similar to that in Vietnam as well. So students will have no trouble settling in when they come to Auckland Grammar School. Now, activities. When it comes to activities, there are so many activities to join. You can literally get lost while choosing. Well, from my personal experience, I joined major production, which is something I've never done before. I met new friends, gained new experience, and became more mature and confident. I absolutely loved it. Now, I took up some new sports as well, such as skateboarding, which unfortunately I fell and broke my 2 front teeth. But now I want to be a dentist, which gave me an idea of what I want to do in the future. I also took up cycling, which is very fun, and it gives you that really nice sense of freedom. Overall, coming here was an absolute blast, and I love every single moment of it. Now, from the school, the school give you a lot of support, amazing support from the international department, who cared for you more than you know it. Because of that, I would like to thank Mr. Easingwood, Ms. Heslin, Ms. Fenton, Ms. Sasagawa, Ms. Ding, Ms. Yu, Ms. Kim, and Ms. Ryleth for all the support you've given me from the past 2.5 years. You would get amazing support from teachers, amazing support from the student services, who are superb at what they do, especially in giving student advice. Well, that's about it. That's a little grammar from me. Thank you, guys.
How beautiful. Thank you very much. And I can see why that you have won the New Zealand Scholarship Gold, the highest scholarship to study in New Zealand. And thank you very much. And I'm sure that I can see Mr. Easingwood smiling away behind the screen right there, and Rachel as well, and Misuk as well. So thank you very much, John. We're so proud of you. And John is going to Otago University and to be right next to me. So I'm so excited to have him here in our Dunedin team. Thank you very much. All right, hang on. Would you like to go to the next screen? And everybody, I'd like to take this a few moments to share with you what's going on in our event today. Before that, hangs in the panelists, can you please transfer everyone to the panelists for me, please? Because some people raising hands here. If you can help me with that, it would be awesome.
Okay, I'm doing it now.
All right, thank you. Okay, so let me get started with this. So we have 4 parts today. The part 1 is the opening, as we are doing now, and we'll introduce our teams and partners as well. In part 2 will be the presentation. So we'll have teacher presentation, and Mr. Paul Easingwood will be present the climate change as well. And then our students presentation, and we'll have 4 presenters coming from 4 different schools and presenting 4 countries. In the part 3, we have the debate competition, which everyone has been working very hard for. So we have 8 teams presenting 8 schools and organizations. And we were divided by 4 pairs. And in each pair, we have 3 members. It will be very exciting. And in part 4, we'll have rewards and closing, and prizes and farewell. We also have music, and during the time, Hạnh Ngân, like many of you already know, Hạnh Ngân will sing us a few songs, and then at the end of the events, we'll have Melody playing us a beautiful piece of music. All right, thank you. So if I can go to the next page, that'll be good. So the teacher presentation is Mr. Paul Easingwood is the lead teacher of our event today. He's the main character for us today. So he will lead the presentation and also he will lead the debate as well. And he is the International Dean at Auckland Grammar School and geography teacher. And also that I was advised that he's also leading the debate team, junior debate team at Auckland Grammar School. So it's so wonderful for us to have Mr. Paul Easingwood spend the whole Sunday with us today. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this will work.
Can we share it later? I just go to the next page as well.
Okay.
Can we go to that one?
Oh, am I okay sharing this? Am I good to get started?
No, can we share that one? I just do the introduction first.
Okay, sorry. There we go. You're back.
Yeah. So Hạnh Ngân, would you like to go back to the screen for me?
Yes.
So thank you. Yeah, so the next page for me, that will be awesome. So our presenter list, we will have like 4. We have Tamang from Nguyễn Siêu School, and she will present the climate change in Russia. We have William Wu, who from Auckland Grammar School. He will present climate change in New Zealand. And we have Đào Duy Từ Thinh, who will present climate change in the USA. And we have Kim Ngân from FPT School, who will present climate change in India. So it will be very exciting to welcome 4 of you here today. And Hạnh Ngân would like to go to the next page, please. Yeah, so we have a lot of prizes today. Like we'll have the most amazing presenter. So the audience will vote for, after you guys listen to all the presenter, you are welcome to vote for the most amazing presenter. And also you can write the tour feedback as well. And we have the best comments. And then we have most engaging students, which Mr. Paul Easingwood will be able to choose one of the most engaging students in all categories today. And the announcement will be at the end of the event. We also have best debate team, and with the price of $40. So everyone in the audience, you can write, you can attend in the debate. Writing debate, because we only have limited space for the team in the live debate. So everyone, I have seen quite a few submission already, but anyone in the room today, you are welcome to write about the topic today as well. So go over to masterwriter.kiwibuddy.com. Hạnh Ngân will share with you the link after our presentation. All right. So what the audience can do today, so apart from you listening to all the activities, you also can write the debate. Go to masterwriter.kiwibuddy.com. The link, all the links will be shared with you. So everyone also can write in the best comment. So you to choose the prize, the best comment prize, and also can go to the comment.kiwibuddy.com. We'll share the link as well. I just created that bit for you, which you can share the feedback and comment on each presenter and each debate team. The same, Mr. Paul Easingwood will choose the best engaging student today. So all of you, we cannot do that without you. So please vote for most amazing presenter and also best debate team. Right. Now, in the writing, I'd like to, it's our privilege to have Ms. Suk, who is International Relationship Manager, and also Ms. Rachel Fenton, who is the International Director, who will be looking at your writing in the comments and debate and your feedback as well. So we will choose the best comments and for the price of $20 New Zealand dollars or 300,000 Vietnam dong. So thank you very much, Ms. Suk and Rachel. Right, and now this is a very special part that I'd like to invite our partners and teams to say hello, because as you can see on the screen, we have so many partners and organizations and groups as well, like take part in this climate change. And we only had just over a week to prepare, and it's significant privilege for us to welcome 4 partners from New Zealand and 8 partners from Vietnam. So in New Zealand, I have PIMS, and I have Up Education, and also Auckland Grammar School and Cambridge High School. In Vietnam, as you can see, we are privileged to have like the foreign trade universities. We have Olympia, we have Western Hanoi School, Nguyễn Siêu School, and Đào Duy Từ School, and we have 2 groups, FPT High School, and we also have 2 groups. One organization is Books and Actions here with us today, and also Nhóm Đồng Hành is a wonderful group for parents and students. So we are so privileged to have support from everybody. So now I'd like to invite each representative from our partners to say hello, so we get to know each other. Firstly, from New Zealand, it's our privilege to co-host this event with Auckland Grammar School. So we have Miss Rachel Fenton, who is International Director. And thank you very much for supporting us. And would you like to unmute yourself and say hello to everybody?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. I'm actually at a school kids party, 5-year-olds today. So I don't know if you can see the background, but it's a little bit crazy here. But a beautiful day here in Auckland City, and I'm very excited to see the debate and seeing how students can perform in this event. So thank you very much for all the Vietnamese schools that are joining us for this inaugural event that Auckland Grammar is leading on, and we're really excited to see the outcome of today. So thank you very much for participating, and good luck.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the party at the same time, the events as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And the second person who is our rock for the event today, Mr. Paul Easingwood, International Dean, the Geography teacher. Yeah, would you like to say hello to everybody as well, Paul?
Hello, everybody. You'll hear a lot from me, so I won't say too much at the moment. So I'll keep it short and simple.
Yeah, thank you. And we also have Miss Suk Riley, who is absolutely amazing supporting our Kiwi Buddy programs. And she spent even like the weekend evening texting me and supporting everything. So, and Miss Suk is International Relationship Manager. Would you like to say hello to everybody?
Hi, everyone. I'm just so happy to see so many people join, and partners from Vietnam, and so looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah, so that's our 3 important people from Auckland Grammar Schools. And on the New Zealand panels, I would like to invite Mr. Craig Fuller, International Director of Cambridge High School. Are you here, Craig?
Yep. Hello, everybody. Good luck to Auckland Grammar. I'm sure you'll do a great job. And hello to everyone in Vietnam. Enjoy their presentation.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And Craig has been absolutely amazing. He never missed any events, and he's been even at our English club every week as well. So it's so wonderful to have you here. Thank you. Yeah, and now we also have Up Education. And Alice, I just wonder if you are here in the room.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, thank you. So the regional manager from the Up Education, and she's been supporting our events as well. So thank you very much, and it'd be lovely to hear a few words from you.
Thank you, Ms. Nga. My name is Alice. I'm the regional manager of Up Education in Indochina. I'm very happy to join in the debate today, and I would love to see in the future more activity from Ms. Nga as well. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much, and hopefully one day we'll have one team from Up Education as well. Thank you. So yeah, thanks. And the last partner from New Zealand is PIMS. PIMS been our wonderful partners, and I'm also privileged enough to be PIMS business partners for Vietnam and Cambodia. And I'd like to introduce Ms. Ngân, Trần Mai Ngân, who is PIMS area manager. Would like to have a few words with us.
Hi everybody, my name is Ngân. I'm from PIMS Vietnam, and thank Kiwi Buddy and Auckland Grammar School for the event today. All the members will be the winners in the presentation and debate today.
Lovely, thank you very much. Yes, so thank you all the New Zealand teams, and I would like to go over to introduce our Vietnam school partners. So firstly, the Nguyễn Siêu School is a wonderful school. I have been working with the school for such a long time. It's so privileged to welcome you. It's your first time today, and in the room here, this morning I was informed that Deputy Principal Miss Mai Chi also here with us, Miss Lee Chen, Miss Anh, and also Mr. Nguyễn Triều Dương, who is the student counselor. And I'd like to invite Dương to have a few words with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Seung. I am the head of the Student Support and Service Department at Nguyễn Siêu School. I would like to thank Kiwi Buddy and Auckland Grammar School for hosting this event. I think this is a very good opportunity for our students to hone their skills as well as to be able to voice their opinions on the matter of climate change and what we can do for a green future. I believe that more than ever, we must act before it is too late. And this event today is no doubt a step towards that green future. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Mr. Dương will be giving some feedback on our presentation and student debate as well. So thank you for helping us today. The next school I'd like to introduce Miss Nguyễn Dương Minh Anh from International Department of Western School of Hanoi. It's the second or third time that you have been like your school and student attended our event today. So thank you very much. So
yes, thank you.
Hi.
Hello again, Kiwi Buddy partners and organizers and other schools. We are very happy to be here again today for another exciting event. And I think that today the students can learn a lot from this topic that we are going to do, which is climate change. We have, I can only see a few students here with the cameras on, but yeah, I think all of the students are very excited about this topic today. It's too bad that we cannot have a presenter for this event today yet, but hopefully next time. Thank you.
So thank you very much. And your student can take part in all our other activities as well. Thank you. So the third school is FPT High School. Miss Trâm Nguyễn, who is business teacher. And it's your, yeah, so I'd like to invite you to say a few words to us, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. Let me introduce something about myself. I'm Trâm. I'm the business teacher of the FPT High School. And I and my students are so happy to be here, and we will have a deeper talk about the hot topic, right? The climate change. And you know, Vietnam is a beautiful country, but it's also listed in economies more affected by climate change. So I think it is very important for us, and especially for students in Vietnam, to learn more about the climate change. So thank you, Ms. Nga, Kiwi Club, and the Auckland Grammar to invite FPT High School to join this event. Thank you, and I hope we will have wonderful time together. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much, and I'm sure that will work. And thanks to all of our teachers and students. Now I would like to invite Olympia School, Miss Viet Ha from International Department. Would you like to say a few words to us, please?
Yeah, hello everyone, and my name is Viet Ha, and I'm in charge of the cutting design of the International Diploma Program in the Olympia Schools. And well, I have to say that it's such a wonderful opportunity for me and for our students also to learn about climate change from different perspectives and also from different schools. And today is a wonderful day, so it's such a great start for a wonderful event of today. So I'm really looking forward to listen to all the presentations and especially the debate between schools. And thank you so much for organizing this event. Thank you.
So welcome, and thank you for being here today. And it's so wonderful to be able to attend a few other activities with the school. So it's my privilege, and thank you very much. Yeah, and the next partner is Dao Duy Thu School, and we have a student, Lê Thảo Ánh, who would like to present her group today to say hello to all our teachers and friends. Lê Thảo Ánh.
Hi, my name is Lê Thảo Ánh, and on behalf of Dao Duy Thu team today at Kiwi Buddy event, I'm very excited to participate in this presentation and debate event, and we hope to gain more experiences as well as to help connect with our friends from Vietnam and also from New Zealand.
Well, thank you very much, and we are so excited about your presentation because not just one but the whole group of students. So the next partner is Books in Action organization. It's a wonderful organization, and we are going to work in a project together to offer our students more activities. So we have Phạm Thị Thu Hiến, who's here with us today. Would you like to say hello to us?
Hello everyone. I'm Huyền Anh from Books and Actions. I'm very happy to be sitting here. I think today we will learn a lot from you. Good luck everyone.
Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to have you here. We also have Foreign Trade University and nhóm đồng hành as well, who have been supporting us, and Foreign University is going to host the next event with Kiwi Buddy. We are going to announce that pretty soon, and hopefully we can have a lot of our partners and students to take part. So now, yeah, so thank you very much. It's all our partners in our team today for being here with us and supporting our students for the activities. Yeah, now I'd like to hand over to Mr. Paul to start the presentation.
Thank you. So let's go on. So just bear with me a second. Okay, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome everybody. It's really good to see you here today. What I would say is, first of all, really interesting to see John with his Thomas the Tank Engine tributes behind him, because I think that fits in really nicely with our global climate crisis. I'm not sure that steam engines really fit in with the modern way of life, to be honest. That carbon burning of coal doesn't really fit in with what we're talking about today. So I think he might have to upgrade to some kind of electric train, or maybe hydrogen powered train for his next speech. Just to go through what I'm going to talk about really briefly today, this is a really different way of teaching for Auckland Grammar teachers. We are much more used to classroom practice. So we're gonna give this a go and see how we go with it. And I just want to give you kind of an overview of that you've considered what climate change means, that you've begun to kind of understand it and the consequences, and start to evaluate the possible solutions. We're actually going to look at it in a slightly different context, I'm hoping. When people look at climate change, they tend to look at it from a very scientific standpoint. I'm going to look at it from a more of a human geography perspective. So trying to look at it from a national standpoint, and also from a political standpoint, because I think that's where the future lies, and I think that's where the problems will come, and I think that's where the problems are at the moment. And so I'm hoping that you find that different perspective, and perspective is really important in geography. I'm hoping that you find that something different to think about. Obviously, if we were going to look at what is climate change in its entirety, we would be here all day. And whilst my colleagues would tell you that I can talk all day at you, I've been told that I am limited to time. So we're going to try and keep it quite brief. Obviously, we can't cover everything, but my hope is that with the students, what the students bring later will fill in the picture and add more color as we go. And hopefully we'll get to a really nice place in this. Now, the first thing I just want to say, though, as an introduction, is in the past, we've always had to be quite balanced. And I saw that you guys were talking about climate change in previous weeks in terms of the myth or reality kind of side of things. And when I started teaching, we actually had to teach it with that perspective in mind. We had to actually talk about Milankovitch cycles, so orbital cycles of the Earth around the sun. We had to talk about sunspots. We had to talk about solar gas explosions. We also had to talk about volcanoes and volcanic activity and all these different theories behind what could else be to blame for climate change. What's really interesting, I think, that's happened, and this is something that we really noticed in COP26, is that I feel like the viewpoint has shifted. We're no longer talking about whether it's a myth or reality. We're now talking about the reality, that it is reality. I think most of the world understands and accepts that climate change is real and it is here. So when we look at what we're talking about climates, and we're talking about the fact that climate shifts over time, and this is an average thing. And the big thing to look at is that we're now about 1.2 degrees centigrade warmer than in the 19th century. And in that same time, we've seen CO2 in the atmosphere rise in correlation. And we can break that down into more detail, but when you look at the evidence that's coming out there, there is a direct correlation between carbon emissions and temperature rises. But you still get some interesting viewpoints in the kind of myth or reality stage. I always used to quite enjoy reading Donald Trump's emails, Twitter about, or tweets, as I should say. I sound really old then, didn't I? About climate change, pointing out that it's a really cold day, so how can global warming be real? The reality is that there is a difference between weather and climate, okay? Weather is something that happens here and now, okay? It's today, there is X weather, okay? Climate is something that happens over time. And that distinction is really important. You can have still freak weather conditions and climate change can be real, okay? So we're kind of moving away from what I would call a binary way of looking at climate change. In other words, it's either this or it's this. In the past, we used to look at it as people would go, climate change isn't real. It always happens. It's just one of those things, you know, sunspots, it has to be this. Therefore, humans aren't having any impact. I think we're moving away from that. And I think people are now starting to understand and appreciate and actually say, you know what, that there is more to this. It can be both things. We can still have sunspots causing climate changes and humans causing climate changes. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And that's where the big shift in mindsets come in the last couple of years. And I think that's something really important to think about. So if anyone comes to you and says climate change or human climate change or enhanced global warming as we talk about it, if they say it's not real, you can go back at them and say, no, it is. Okay, science almost certainly now has determined that it is, and so that's the way we're looking at it. And if you want to talk to them in more detail, you can talk about the hockey stick effect and the fact that temperature anomalies are on the rise, and they are continuing to rise, and they're rising basically in accordance with greenhouse emissions, and I think that's really important to understand. So why is there climate change? Okay, I said I wasn't going to spend too long on the science of things, so I'm actually going to start with a different perspective. I'm actually going to start in terms of why is there climate change? Well, actually, one of the main reasons for climate change is development. As countries develop, and as we move through the stages of development and we become more developed, we tend to use more carbon. We tend to produce more emissions. When we live in a traditional society, and I've put on here Rostow's model, this is the very geography teacher side of me, but when we live in a very simple existence, we actually don't create much issues for the planet. We live in a really sustainable way, okay? And that means that we can continue living the way we live. As we move through the stages up to the high mass consumption model, point of the model, where we actually start to consume a lot, okay? And that means we buy a lot. That means we have a lot of packaging. That means we create a lot of pollution. We use a lot of plastics. We use a lot of carbon to create all these things. That's when we start to add problems for our environment. There is no enhanced global warming without humans and without development. And this is why I put this first, because actually this is the core of all the problems. And I will loop back to this at the end. Okay. As I said, lots of economic activities pose massive threats to natural environments. Just the way we live, the way we put concrete down creates urban heat islands. The way we emit carbon creates problems in our atmosphere. And this is just self-perpetuating. It gets worse and worse and worse. And when we start to live within it, we start to see those problems more and more. Why is that? Now, this is the quick, brief, sciencey bit, so I won't spend too long on this. But what's happening is, as solar radiation enters our atmosphere, it actually gets trapped a little bit like a blanket. The long wave radiation is trapped. And it's basically like putting a slightly thicker blanket on your bed at night. It just keeps you a bit warmer. And the more greenhouse gases we emit, the warmer our environment will become, because more of that radiation is trapped. So less can escape into the outer atmosphere. Okay. And as we kind of start to emit more and more, and there's lots of different ones, but carbon is the one we focus on most often. As we start to emit more and more and more of these natural gases, these greenhouse gases, we start to enhance the greenhouse effect. Now, it is incredibly important that you understand that the greenhouse effect is a natural thing. It is normal. It is there. Without it, we would not exist. Okay. So it is a normal, natural thing. What we are doing is we are enhancing it. And that's why we call it the enhanced greenhouse effect. Okay. And I think, again, something to really focus on is we are enhancing it. We're making it more effective, if that's the right term. And therefore, we are making more problems in terms of increasing the heat in our planet. A key thing of that is the carbon cycle. And it's really critical to understand the carbon cycle in terms of what happens. It is a really slow cycle, okay? And as this slow cycle progresses, we get these dead organisms, we get this carbon being formed, being stored. And the store of carbon is really important. It's stored in coal, it's stored in rocks, it's stored in oil. All of these different stores are really important for us because it means it's not in the atmosphere. When we burn that carbon, that's when we actually release it back into the atmosphere. And it can take enormous amounts of time to then restore. Okay, there are very clever people, much cleverer than I, who are currently looking at ways of finding ways of storing carbon and trying to trap carbon and store it, especially into the oceans in particular. But the reality is our biggest problem in terms of global warming is the burning of fossil fuels, because it is a very long-winded, slow process. And what we are doing is we're speeding up the release of that carbon into our atmosphere. So what are the impacts? Okay, the impacts are widespread, and some of them are incredibly subtle. It means you can't see them very clearly. It could be pollution. It could be the spread of diseases, because diseases can last longer in warmer atmospheres. Perhaps it could be the fact that we start to see malaria spreading into Europe and further afield. It could be that we start to see extreme heat causing sunstroke and various other things like that. Obviously, sea level rises is the big one that gets spoken about probably the most, I would say. But I think a bigger one at the moment that we see most regularly is actually really severe storm episodes. And we're starting to see more and more tropical storm episodes causing huge problems for people, and in particular for food production and being able to feed people. So it's all bad, right? That's what we kind of hear. That's what we're always hearing, that it's all bad, it's all wrong, that it's not a good thing. Well, not for everyone. In New Zealand, climate change could be quite good for us in some parts. It could warm up the country. It could allow areas to grow foods that they've previously not been able to grow. It could be that we're able to get new species living around us, more fish species, things like that. So it's not always bad. And that's why it's so hard and so confusing, because it might be terrible for one place, but might be quite good for another. And this is why it's really hard to get an answer. Okay, nearing the end. Okay, so finally, why have we decided to talk about this now? Well, COP26 happened recently, and the objectives were really simple. They wanted to reduce the temperature rises and actually start to get zero carbon emissions for countries by 2050 and keep global temperatures below 1.5 degrees C rise. Protect habitats and ecosystems, work together and start to get financing in the right place to help solve all these. I think one of the key posters from COP26 was this: the climate has no borders. And this is what we're talking about here, that climate has no borders, but the world does. The world is a political place. And this is why solutions are so difficult. If we just have a look at the problems in terms of, if we just look at GDP, one of the development indicators, if we have a look at different parts of the world, there is massive inequality. And whilst you have that nice green line on the graph there showing the West and its GDP, great for them. But there are other parts of the world who are not having that great growth, are struggling. And the West made its money on carbon, causing pollution. And so for them to turn around and say, for high income countries to turn around and say, hey, you know what? You guys can't have the same fun. You guys can't make the same money because actually the world's burning. So you've got to stop. Well, that's a little bit two-faced and a little bit challenging as well, because having made loads of money over the past 150 years or so, and having good lifestyles and everything like that that goes with it, mass industry, to suddenly turn around to other nations and say, hey, you can't, it is really controversial. And that's why the issue is not simple. In the end, the outcomes were pretty blurry. I'm not going to run through all these now, but there were indications of changes that would take place. But one of the key ones in terms of burning coal, it was watered down all the way. Started off with the removal of the use of coal, then became a phasing out, and then became a reduction. So what we saw is, and mainly due to India. India was one of the big ones to be blamed for this, but to be fair, I don't think it was India on their own. And at the same time as India coming out and saying, hey, we're actually going to go down from the banning of coal to the reduction in use, which was a real kind of movement down the plane, India was also shutting down its major cities because of the amount of pollution and smog being dangerous to young people, caused by the burning of fossil fuels, also caused by some other things like farmers burning crops and fireworks because of Diwali. But at the same time, while they're shutting their cities down, they're having issues with actually signing up to any meaningful change. So what next? This has been a whistle-stop tour through climate change. What next is really difficult. If we look at the current predicament, we're looking at being in a really bad place moving forwards, and we need meaningful change to actually get there. If we look at the really popular policies, the conservation of forest and land is a big one, and people agreed to that at COP26. Renewable power is a really big thing that people find popular. Climate-friendly farming, green businesses and jobs, electric vehicles, a huge switch in that area, which shows what can be done, especially when fossil fuel manufacturers kind of move out of that dialogue. But to take you back to my original points, my original point was that the climate has no borders and that this is a political issue. Now we're going to listen to some student presenters who are going to talk from the perspective of different countries, and actually different countries at different levels of development. It is very easy for a country like the UK, who are hosting COP26, or like New Zealand, to make very good pledges based on the fact that they are ready for change. But it is much more difficult for middle-income countries who are industrializing at the moment, or even countries who are moving through that industrial cycle to actually make that meaningful change without support from high-income countries. The only way we can really get any meaningful change long-term is to see climate as something that has no borders, that has no restrictions. We have to stop looking at it in a really selfish light, dare I say. And that's hard, because if I'm an individual living in New Zealand, which I am, I care about me and my family and being safe and being prosperous, and I don't want to make changes that are going to impact me. And I don't want my politicians to make changes that are going to impact me. And so when they are making these decisions, there's wider things to think about. And this is why meaningful change takes so long to take place, really, because the reality is for the world that we have to look at this as a global thing, as a world issue. The good thing is, I think young people today have a much better perspective on it than old people like me. And I think that is a really strong hope. So from me, noho ora mai to you all. And I look forward to hearing the student presentations that I hope will add a bit more depth to my whistle-stop tour of the reasons for climate change and why I think it's a challenging issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's great, very comprehensive information about climate change from your point of view, and a lot of insights as well. And I can see our students writing quite a lot here with the comments, agreeing with you and contributing to others as well. It's wonderful, and I'd like you to take some time to look at that as well. I can see it's just amazing to see that from our students. Yeah, so thank you very much. And now we'd like to invite our first students to present. Hang would you like to screen share our first students and everyone in the audience, because now we're heading into the presentation and also followed by the debate. I will share with you the link, which you are able to start writing to comment on the performance of each our presenter and our debate in the comments. So I will share the link, and what you will do is that you will hashtag #1 and then you write, and then all the instruction on the platform on the link already. So just click onto that and follow it and just keep writing, because Miss Misuk and Rachel will be behind the scene looking at the writing as well. It's a great way for you not just to improve the writing, but also your knowledge on climate change as well, and also critical thinking and giving feedback, and learn to be a judge yourself. All right, so I would like to turn on to yes, this is our first student, Tamang from Nguyễn Siêu School. She's going to present the climate change in Russia. And it's wonderful to have you here. And she turned up very early today, and she's just already, and it's so privileged that I heard from the Mr. Lee Chen from Nguyễn Siêu School that they have the IT team behind supporting us as well. So it's wonderful support from the school, and also Miss Thủy Nguyen is the principal friend of mine, and it's you are not here today, but thank you very much for giving us a chance to have your student here. So Tamang, are you here? You can screen share as well, because all panelists can screen share. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. And now the screen is yours.
Thank you.
Can anyone see my screen?
Yes, we can
Yes.
now.
Hi, thank so hello everyone, my name is Tumlin. I'm from Winfield School, and today I'm going to be presenting about key policies and priorities of climate action in Russia. So before we start, so let's go through the table of contents of my presentation. So there will be 4 main parts, including the issues, the present policies, and future goals, my opinions about the key priorities, and a message of mine. So first, talking about climate change from the Maori perspective, I assume that climate change has been increasing major impacts on primary industries, including forestry, agriculture, fishing, and tourism. Moreover, the impacts are expected to be disproportionate due to the remote location and the low economic status of many countries, many communities, I'm sorry. So that is a brief introduction. Now is the first content about the CO2 emissions and climate issues in Russia. According to the data from the Union of Concerned Scientists, Russia is the world's 4th largest emitter of greenhouse gases since 1850, and the data is shown on the slide. All right. So as we can observe, with a huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions each year, climate change has been impacting significantly to Russia, such as increase the frequency of catastrophic floods, heat waves, wildfires, and other environmental issues. And in 2010, the heat wave and wildfires resulted in around 14,000 heat and air pollution related deaths, as well as around 25% crop failure, more than 10,000 kilometers squared of burned areas, and also around $15 billion of economic losses. And one of the pictures that can grab many people's attention is the photo of polar bears feeding at a garbage dump in October 2018. This is the military area where bears have begun to enter in search of food due to the Arctic ice melting. But in contrast, Russia has huge potential to expand renewable energy production, such as solar, wind, geothermal, biofuels, and hydrogen, especially given its size, strong scientific base, and sheer variety of climate zones. And therefore, the government of Russia has been making contemporary policies and ambitions for the future climate. In Moscow, the 2nd of July, 2021, President Vladimir Putin signed legislation on Friday that will require businesses to report their greenhouse gas emissions. And also, Russia, which exports oil and gas, joined the Paris Climate Change Pact in 2019. It aims to cut its 2030 emission to 70% of 1990 levels, a target it should hit easily because of the industrialization since the Soviet Union broke up in 1991. In November 2020, Russia put forward an updated emission reduction target of at least 30% below 1990 levels by 2030. And recently, in early October 2021, Putin stunned observers by committing Russia to a target of net zero by 2060. And reacting to this, several people claim that because fossil fuels are Russia's great comparative advantage, it is unthinkable, unpredictable, or unreliable for this commitment. So after doing some research, myself was asking for possibilities of various solutions that are being taken in other nations. So here will be 3 key policies that I found crucial and efficient for the country I'm presenting for. Oh no. So the first priority is to limit greenhouse gas emissions at a certain amount. So this will grab attention from businesses to adjust greenhouse gases emission from their manufacturer activities. And if the amount is over the limit, there will not only be monetary fine for punishment, but also consideration of investments and incentives from the government of renewable energy resources, as well as other necessary support. And this will also encourage citizens to prefer using environmental friendly products, such as electric car or solar cooker. Secondly, is to create a social phenomenon, meaning to propagate possible actions to the society by creating trends and spreading them through social media. And the social phenomenon means activity or behavior in which influence from a community to any individuals. So this is a more effective method comparing to the media with harmful effects or consequences of climate change, as people cannot the media cannot motivate individuals to take actions for vague consequences. Whether if we compare to social phenomenon, it would influence and inspire more efficiently, especially to the young citizens like us. And one of the activities is to create pages and communities in certain areas who take considerable actions, such as investing solar power energy resource for domestic usage, in order to influence other people to follow and respond to one another. Lastly, is to forbid indiscriminate deforestation. Approximately 2.6 billion tons of carbon dioxide, 1/3 of the CO2 released from burning fossil fuels, is observed by forests every year. And wildfires, deforestation destroy carbon absorbing forests all across Russia recently. So we therefore reducing deforestation for agriculture and forbid the indiscriminate deforestation can contribute over 1/3 of the total climate change mitigation. And lastly is my personal message. As a Vietnamese young citizen, I assume collaboration and communication is key for not only Russia, but in many countries in the world. Despite the fact that reducing fossil fuels or banning them is crucial, balancing and adapting with changes is necessary at the same time. And Russia can make their goals possible if everyone contributes to take considerable actions for the nation. And we all hope they would make it soon. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Awesome, thank you very much. It's wonderful. And I would like to pass on to Mr. Paul Easingwood to be our judge today, to have few words, feedbacks on your presentation. And then I would like to invite Mr. Dương as well, if you can prepare after that to give some feedback on your student presentation. And the students in the audience, please head over to the link and write some comments and feedback on the presentation as well. So the link I have already sent to the chat room, the chat box. So Paul, it's over to you.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say your presentation was far more beautiful than mine. I think the grammar old school PowerPoint is looking quite dated these days. I thought it was really well researched. I think what I liked about it was that you really put yourself in the shoes of someone living in Russia, and I think that was a really nice thing to think about. I just want to pick up on one of your final points in terms of, or one of the points you made in terms of the stunned observers. I like the humor there with Putin's observation of moving away from fossil fuels by 2060, or becoming, sorry, carbon neutral, and the kind of stunned observers and the, okay, is that what's going to happen? Interestingly, if you look at a country like Norway, who heavily became very wealthy on the back of oil, what they actually did was they used that oil revenue to try and diversify and get into other areas, and then become greener as a result, or long-term looking to become greener as a result. And it'll be interesting to see whether Russia goes that way or has that long-term thinking. I suspect, I say this very hesitantly on a public forum like this, I wonder if there's maybe a little bit too much, what's the right word, corruption in Russia for that to happen. But we'll see. It's a very interesting standpoint. But I thought your presentation was fascinating, really well put together, really well researched. And I particularly liked the Putin slide, which was one of my favorites. So well done.
Awesome, thank you very much. And it's very positive, and I'm very impressed with your presentation as well. So now Mr. Nguyễn Triều Dương from Nguyễn Siêu School, would you like to give a brief feedback?
Yeah, I agree with Paul's comment. the presentation is very well researched, and it's very engaging as well. And I think Tamang brought a very good point, very polar opposite side of the argument. And you can see that clearly Russia is one of the main contributor of greenhouse gas, but at the same time, they have a huge potential to becoming green. And I like seeing that polar opposite side on her argument. And I also like one of the solutions that she brought up with social media, which is something that is very engaging and very current to the younger generation. And overall, I think, yeah, a very well put together presentation.
Very, very positive, and thank you very much. And students, it's your turn to do some writing. And if you like the presentation from Mayan, send her a few nice words in the chat box as well. Say thank you, or whatever the case. Hello to each other. And from Kiwi Buddy team, thank you very much. I'm very impressed with your English and also your research and presentation. Awesome. Thank you. And now it's I'd like to invite the second presenter, William Yu from Auckland Grammar School. And you are going to present the climate change in New Zealand. The same, everybody, please welcome William Yu, and welcome to our presentation. If I hear you are welcome to screen share.
Cool, thank you. I'll just share my screen first.
Yeah, so everyone, you have time to write when you're listening to William, and yeah, just go over to write some comments as well for the price of 20 New Zealand dollars, 300,000 Vietnam dong. And also you practice your writing, and we have our teachers here waiting for you to see how you write and comment on our presenters. Are you right with the screen share, William?
Yeah, just a bit of a problem with my computer. Apologies.
Is that okay now? Miss Suk, do you have a copy there? You can screen share on behalf of
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
William as well. I received an email here, but I don't see the present.
Oh, yep, I can share now. Yeah. Can everyone see my screen?
Awesome, thank you very much.
Right. Sorry, apologies for the delay. So I am William, and I'll be presenting on New Zealand. And it is a privilege to probably speak on behalf of New Zealand, since I am doing a presentation since I live in New Zealand. And so, yeah, so before I start, let's have a look at just the global context and what climate change is in general. And Mr. Easingwood have already spoken on some of it, and such as what is climate change in general. And so I'll just go through them very briefly. So first, let's realize that the global problem that we have in common is that climate change is being caused by these greenhouse gases. And so they have benefits, and they have our much more negatives to consider. And when too much greenhouse gas and emissions are in our atmosphere, we get something of a heating effect, like Mr. Easingwood talked about the blanket, and essentially our planet becomes on fire. And this is a very severe issue, especially over the past century. And if you see on these two graphs, we have seen a very obvious trend in the global temperature. And we can see from since the 1880s, it's risen exceptionally high. And on the right-hand side, we see most of this increase in global temperature is also partially due to land use. And keep this in mind because in New Zealand's context, it is slightly different. Now, for New Zealand, we are a pretty isolated community. Our closest neighbor is Australia, which is 3.5 hours away. And so essentially we are an island nation. And much of our economy in New Zealand is based on dairy and also tourism. So these two are our major sectors that run our economy and our GDP. And so our two main greenhouse gas emissions will be methane and nitrous oxides that are emitted every year. And from in this graph, we can see the different sectors in New Zealand's economy. So we see that agriculture has seen a huge increase in emissions of carbon dioxide equivalency, and also our energy usage. And that refers to transport and offshore emissions from New Zealand. And so these two are graphs from Baringhead, which is located in the capital of, near the capital of New Zealand at Wellington. And they're almost in a linear trend. So both the nitrous oxide concentrations and the methane concentrations are increased hugely over the past 25 years or so. And this is a huge problem. But on a global context, New Zealand emitting very little compared to larger continents, larger countries. We can see at the very bottom of the graph, New Zealand is literally near to 0 ton. Well, not exactly 0 ton, but near to zero, like a few 100 million tons, in fact. And so while we are not large emitters, we are one of the largest gross emissions per person. And this is very, very, very serious because we are among the 6th highest of this gross emissions per person in the whole world, even though our total gross emissions are ranked 24th. And to give you another context, compared to the rest of the countries, apologies for the quality of the graph, we are higher than the United Kingdom for both the carbon dioxide per capita and all gases per capita emitted. And for Japan, our gases per capita is even higher. And considering Japan's population is roughly 21 times New Zealand's population, and the United Kingdom's population is roughly 13 times more than New Zealand's population, this is a very huge issue for us to consider and to decrease over the next future years. And so following the COP26 conferences, we took in some more detailed statistics over the past decade. And so we see we have a 57% increase in emissions from 1990 to 2018. And out of all the industrialized countries, we are the 2nd greatest. And as I've reiterated in the previous point, much of our emissions come from our agriculture, which is the primary economic industries for us, as well as our transport and from our energy. So this is 19.7% and 48.1% for agriculture. And so our main areas that we'll be focused on will be probably these two. And because of climate change, we really can reduce down to 3 main things for New Zealanders. So that's the environment, our economy, and our everyday life. And these effects include rising sea levels, coastal erosion. Much of our cities are located near the coast. We can also experience large floods, changing ocean temperatures near us, so affecting biodiversity. We have home to lots of native species, and also including much of our agriculture, including crops and food production. And we can again see the rising CO2 emissions, but we can note that over the years, New Zealand is making some good progress on flattening it. And this can be shown by how New Zealand's electricity generated from renewable energy sources was 82% in 2019. And this is our graph that shows one of our pledges over the few conferences, including the Paris Agreement. So that's our limiting to 1.5 degrees. And so by 2030, under the new COP26 conference, we are aiming to reduce emissions by 50%. And this would allow us to brushly meet off the 1.5 degree Celsius goal. And this is also showing us the range of how much carbon dioxide equivalent to reduce in order to meet this goal. And so some of the goals that I've rather focused on is to reduce the energy use, reduce the land use change to forestry, but not necessarily reduce, but to lessen like the deforestation that we have. Because New Zealand is really rich in forests, and much of our tourism is also due to this natural environment that New Zealand offers. And also we are aiming to shift to a more carbon neutral sources and increasing energy efficiency in transport. And likewise, preserving forests, investments, and building more wind farms and solar farms. And so in transport wise, we are making quite a few progresses in this sector. However, many cities that I've known, especially in China as well, shifted to pretty much more than 90% as electric buses and electric vehicles. So if New Zealand can make a similar change in this, although one of the disadvantages in this area would be high costs, and so much of the focus will have to be looking at investments and economy. And especially because of climate change, we are seeing a lot of species being severely impacted. And these are just a few of our native species, such as the kakapo, kiwi, the tuatara, and the kariru. And since these species are very vital to our, are very sensitive to climate, we really have to control this increase in climate change so they are better adapted. In other words, they're hanging on a life raft at the moment, waiting to really adapt to this current temperature. So this is actually a picture I've taken roughly last year when I stayed over in South Island. And at the very back, if you see in the middle, is like one of the glaciers. It might not be very clear, but that glacier, I had the privilege of actually hiking on it and on a glacier walk. And to give you a very good perspective on what climate change is doing, since 2008, over 1.56 kilometers of that glacier has been retreating each very slowly. But and if you have a look at the large scale, much of the water being melted from this ice of this glacier is huge. It's very enormous. So when this leads to sea level rise, and that obviously involves coastal erosion and many uninhabitable coastal towns. And we could also look at one of Elon Musk's gigafactories as part of one of the investments, although they are insanely expensive. But these gigafactories focus on producing renewable batteries. And what they do is that, I'm not sure the credibility of this, but one of the videos he said was that only 100 of these would allow to run the whole world on renewable energy. But so these are the future we should be heading towards, and the investments we should be making to create a much more fossil fuel free environment. And this also leads into our wind farms, solar farms, and also tidal farms, since New Zealand is surrounded by the ocean, essentially. Why we cannot use nuclear is that since New Zealand has imposed a ban on nuclear, which I very agree with, although it is also a clean option, but these, while expensive, are the way to move forward. And New Zealand is continuing to build more of these wind farms and solar farms. And of course, we cannot ignore our Maori traditional values that really which really hold the crux of what we are working towards. So these involve whanaungatanga, kaitiakitanga, and wairuatanga. And all these values hold together about why we should curb climate change, why we are part of nature. We should be sharing the world with Mother Nature as they offer. And so, since although New Zealand is a very small nation compared to the larger nations, we still do our bit, and we hope that small changes lead to bigger changes, and therefore, New Zealand, I believe, is heading towards a very good progress in the future. Yeah.
So, thank you very much, William. So it's a presentation on New Zealand climate change, and now I'd like to invite Mr. Paul Easingwood to have a few words on the feedback of the presentation.
Hey, yes, thanks, William. Thanks, William. I would say I really like your use of data, actually. I think there was quite a bit in there that, considering I teach about this, I hadn't actually considered myself in particular kind of sixth highest per person, I think it was, when you were looking at kind of how polluting New Zealand was. I think I like the fact that you talked about we do have a lot of unique species here, and the idea of those disappearing, I think, is something that we should be really aware of and see ourselves as humans as guardians of the planet almost a little bit. And we do have that responsibility, and there's quite a few people who don't believe that. I think as kind of thoughts provoking and thinking as a thinking species, we should actually go above and beyond that. I think my only critique would be, and I think this would be a kind of a better if thing, I actually think you could have been a bit nastier. I know New Zealand, so I think you could have been a bit nastier in terms of really comparing that clean green image that they sell and that gets sold, and that kind of idea of what are they doing to kind of provide solutions of that in terms of long-term investment, sustainability, what it means to be sustainable in that side of things. Good things going on, like the banning of coal, oil, and gas exploration. I think it is a real positive step forward. But then also that real big debate over farming, and I like the fact you brought farming in there, in terms of in New Zealand for our Vietnamese viewers, farming is a real heroes and villains thing. And reading some of the comments, I think it might be the same in Vietnam as well, where some farmers are seen as heroes because they feed the population, and on the other hand, some people see them as villains because of the amount of pollution they create and actually the profits they make and don't look after the environment. And it's a really interesting kind of standpoint in New Zealand, and a really big debate going on at the moment about, are farmers heroes or are they villains? And again, that's something we could talk about for a long time. But overall, I thought it was a really, again, well-researched and a really fascinating speech. And I oddly, I learned stuff, and that scares me a little bit because I feel like I should know it already. So well done.
So thank you very much, and thanks, William, for putting such effort into our presentation and sharing about New Zealand with our Vietnamese friends. So thank you. So John, Nguyễn, would you like to have a few words because you're from Auckland Grammar School, you're from Vietnam, you live in New Zealand. So what do you think?
First of all, thank you, William, for that amazing presentation. I was actually quite shocked because, like Mr. Easingwood said, he can be a bit nastier about selling the truth. And coming from Vietnam, looking into New Zealand from a Vietnamese standpoint, we see New Zealand as a very beautiful country that basically does everything by the book and just overall perfect. And knowing this is actually eye-opening. And I'm also interested about one of the point he said is which is about traveling in Auckland, traveling in around major cities. And yeah, I can totally agree with that. And I was just hoping that the government can create some sort of incentives to encourage people to ride bikes more, because I'm a cyclist and I can enjoy riding bikes, and it's a very good health benefit. But it also scares the living crap out of me having to share the path some roads with cars. It's really scary, and yeah, I hope government can create some sort of incentives to encourage more people to ride. That would be great. Thank you, William.
Lovely, thank you very much. And the audience, everyone, please follow the link, and you can write a comment as well on the number 2, William Yu, and then we will be able to vote for the best, most amazing presenter today. And I'm sure that will be a very difficult choice for you. And now I'd like to invite the third presenter and this is not just one person, it's the whole team from Dao Suitu High School. So if you are all here, I know that 5 of you in the chat group, you have 5 minutes, but I think like we'll give you 6 to 7 minutes to complete your presentation, because we don't have one of the students presenting Vietnam. He couldn't attend today for family matter, so we have a little bit more time. So Dao Suitu team, would you like to take over the screen and screen share? Are you there? Awesome, thank you very much.
Okay, hello, we are KOD, the debate club of Dao Suitu High School, and today we shall talk about global climate change policies. To have a better understanding of climate change, first, let's look into the definition of climate. Climate is the usual weather of a place. It can be different from season to season. Earth climate change is a change of the climate system by natural and man-made nuclei in a certain period measured in decades or millions of years. Therefore, we think that the policy we are going to discuss is extremely important in the future in order to prevent severe effects of climate change. We come to the first policy, that is to use environmentally friendly transportation methods. As we all know, the population is constantly increasing, which means the demand for travel and vehicles are increasing even more. In 2020, Vietnam ranks 21 out of 106 countries classified in the group of countries with the worst air. And one of the main reasons is the use of vehicles emitting exotic, which leads to the destruction of the ozone layer and seriously affect global climate change. So we must have urgent policy to prevent climate change from affecting the world more further. We offer the following 2 ideas. Change the means of the transportation according to individual travel demand and create an environmentally friendly transport system. Regarding personal travel needs, the consumption of gasoline and oil not only affect the limited natural resources, but also affect the environment. Therefore, I recommend using eco-friendly vehicles that are less harmful to the environment. Next, on the issue of transportation, I suggest cutting emissions as much as possible, creating an eco-friendly transport system. This requires scientists as well as researchers to contribute more effort in protecting the living environment and the home of mankind. When we change, there will be direct effects that contribute to limit climate change. Greenhouse gas emissions will be gradually reduced, air pollution and noise will also be improved. Most importantly, we can save a huge amount of money and at the same time protect the environment. I'm pretty sure you're curious what the second policy, right? Then I would like to introduce a member of our team who will continue to discuss this topic.
Thanks, Ling. Hello, everyone. I'm Gamindu from KOD, and today I will present you with the second policy, which is to ban illegal tree cutting. Without doubt, not only scientists, but also everyone realized that in recent decades, the climate is altering very fast and leaving a deep affection for nature on this planet. Another thing is deforestation is also a factor which is contribute a large effect in this destroying progress. Here's the thing, deforestation will cause a slaughter of trees. It will lead to some of the most excruciating problems to the climate, such as the lack of oxygen. To my knowledge, tree photosynthesis, which is the unique way to absorb carbon dioxide and create oxygen for humans to breathe. In fact, the large number of emissions from factories, vehicles, and humans and animals can sustain the life thanks to the great contribution of trees. On the other hand, trees prevent us from dust. This is also an essential ability of them, owing to the fact that there's so much dust has been created every day that can damage terribly to our lungs. Fortunately, trees are cleaning the air for us in an astounding way. Therefore, the catastrophic future scenario won't happen unless there's a solution to stop. As we have seen, humans have already had enormous impacts on climate change. These are just two of many key future policies on preventing it. We hope that each of us will contribute a part of our conscience and efforts to join hands with the whole world to fight climate change so that we can live together on a green, clean, and beautiful planet. Thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It's wonderful, and it's such a teamwork like from Dao Suitu School, and I was very surprised to see the submission with a group of students, and thank you guys. Your teacher and principal, we're very proud of you today. Awesome. And Mr. Paul Easingwood, now it's time for you to give feedback to our students.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Can I just say that I'm for somebody who is a monolinguist, other than a tiny bit of French, I am massively impressed with the level of English on here, which has been absolutely fantastic. I just want to pick up just really quickly on that deforestation thing, because it did really make me think in terms of a couple of aspects that often get lost with deforestation. One is, I kind of mentioned it briefly in my talk, but shade is really important for trees as well in terms of the impacts they can make, because if the sun's rays can't be absorbed by the Earth's surface, or if photosynthesis is used instead, if it's used for that, then it changes the nature of the way that actually our environment works. And planting trees in particular is something that can really stop the urban heat island effect. And I think it's a really critical thing. And that would be something that, if you're writing about deforestation again, I would definitely encourage you to have a look at in terms of the benefits of that shading side of things. The other thing that came to mind as well, which was really good of you to kind of bring into that, is I always think cutting down trees or deforestation has a triplicate effect. Now, what I mean by that is it has three impacts, basically. The first thing you do is you cut it down, and it has all the impacts that you talked about in your presentation. By cutting it down, you don't have all the benefits that the trees brings. But then often you process the tree or burn the tree, which then releases all the carbon that it was storing in the first place. And a lot of people get those 2 points. But then there's also a third point, that often then the land gets used for alternative purpose. So it might be used for cows, which then can cause methane. So it has actually a triplicate effect. It actually is bad in three separate ways. And so I thought that was something that actually reminded me of and prompted me to think about. So that was really good. And I thought it was a really good outline to begin with, to kind of build the case as well. So yeah, really well done, really impressed.
Lovely, thank you very much. And we are so impressed with all of the presentations so far, such an effort. And Dao Suitu School probably prepared this presentation overnight. So well done to you all, and thank you. And Craig, you are in the room today. Would you like to give 1 minute feedback on the number 3 presentation? And number 4, get ready as well, please. And the audience, please write your comments. Craig, you mute yourself.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep, I just loved it because they approached it from a different way. They came up with those solutions of public transport. And it just reminded me of crossing the roads in Ho Chi Minh City, where you've got to walk across, and it's so dangerous because of all the cars. You can't stop. I thought, yeah. And I remember the pictures from years ago where it was all bicycles, and now the cars are pushing the bikes away. So public transport has to be a part of the future. And I did love the water taxis they have now. I thought that is so clever. In Ho Chi Minh City, those water taxis, using the river to get people around.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and well done to all of our students. And now I'd like to Thanks, Craig, for that. To welcome number 4 from Kim Ngân from FPT High School. You have 5 minutes to present your climate change on India. You can share.
Sorry, I haven't used Zoom before, so actually I don't know how to share my screen. And I want to ask that how to share my screen. Is that an important here?
Are you using your computer?
Yes, I'm using computer.
Can you see the share screen? Yeah, the screen is a green button. It's a green button. Can you hear it? Can you see it?
Okay.
Share screen, and then you can turn it on, and then choose whatever tab your slide's currently on, and you're good to go.
All right. I'm so sorry. Can it share in Google? It just like I just need the tabs. And
yes, I think if you click on share screen, you can see that it shows the various tabs that you're currently opening, and then you can just click on whatever you're using to open Google, like Google Chrome or whatever.
Yes. Thanks a lot. Actually, I haven't used it before.
Oh, thanks, Thịnh Ngân. It's our Kiwi ambassador. It's so important to have you here.
So can you see my screen?
Yes,
right.
We can now.
Okay, thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Ngân, who represent FPT High School to bring my passion, my opinion, and my presentation to share with you. First of all, I have a question, and I also give a picture here. My question is, what does it remind of you? Absolutely. It implies a phenomenon as climate change, which is my main topic today that we have to discuss. So what is a climate change and how to cope with this? Let's clarify. Generally, climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. There have been previous periods of climate change, but the current changes are more rapid than any known events in Earth's history, which may be natural, such as through variations in solar cycle. But since the 1800s, human activities have been the main drivers of climate change, primarily due to burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. So from this, we have to appertain to global warming. And what is the main cause? Let's find out. Burning fossil fuel generates greenhouse gas emissions that act like a blanket wrapped around the Earth, trapping the sun's heat and raising temperature. Collectively, this amplifies global warming. I also have a question again. That have you ever wondered, is carbon in the air good, bad, or just ugly? It's time to disclose. First of all, I will introduce some main points about India, the country that I have to discuss about. India is the second largest country in the world in terms of the amount of waste released into the environment. Air pollution in India is a serious issue, which the main sources being biomass burning, fuel adulteration, vehicle emission, and traffic congestion. Air pollution is also the main cause of Asian brown cloud, which has been causing the monsoon season. Here, I also give 4 outstanding negative impacts. I emphasize again, is outstanding, because we have a lot of negative impacts of climate change in India. And the first picture I give is flooding. The second is worsening droughts. The third one is air pollution. And finally is sea level rising. Yeah, it is very surprising that because besides the negative effect, we also have positive effect of climate change. CO2, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, works to trap heat close to the Earth. If it wasn't for this greenhouse effect, if the Earth's ocean would be the frozen solid, Earth would not be the beautiful blue and green planet right now. Okay, so What should we do to deal with climate change? Here, I give some measures, which is also proved through COP26 conference. Firstly, is mitigation. Getting to net zero and keep 1.5. This means phasing down coal power, halting and reversing deforestation, speeding up the switch to electric vehicles and renewables. To clarify, net analyze the 4 ways to get this target. Firstly, is phasing out the coal. Why will you have to do that? Burning coal to generate electricity produces toxic gases and is the single biggest contributor to climate change. That's why phasing it out as soon as possible is crucial and essential elements right now. Secondly, is halting and reversing deforestation. The reason is, if forests are cut down, their ability to bulk greenhouse gases from atmosphere is lost along with habitats for animals and birds, which can lead to extinction. Thirdly, is speeding up the switch to electric vehicles. Why we have to do that? Accelerating the transition to zero-emission vehicle will meet our climate change goals by reducing emission and cleaning up air we breathe. Finally, is renewable energy. Why? Because it's natural. It generates energy that produces no greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuel, which is one of the factors causing climate change. As for the big 2, I will discuss about the finance. Why does this matter? Why I have to cite it in my presentation? Because we need to raise cash to help developed countries tackle climate change. Money is needed to spend on things such as renewable energy, flood defenses, droughts, resilient crops, and the development of green technology. As for the big 3, is the collaboration. Because, work together to deliver. So that's for the globe. As for Vietnam, my hometown, Vietnam is also considered as one of the countries most affected by climate change. So we have to be willing to cope with climate change immediately without waiting. To do that, we have to set up a detailed plan first. Some such strategies that I have mentioned above. Of course, there are some strategies that Vietnam and even India towards. However, they also have to be sensible, appropriate, proper, and realistic with each country's situation, like our fund, our population, and the condition. I also have a short video. It's very interesting, and I hope you guys can enjoy it with me. So let's watch.
Does it have a sound? Or is it silent?
I think it is in plain sound.
Okay. Well, can you say sound?
You may need to increase the volume on your screen. That's okay.
Can you hear that?
I think there's an option when you can choose to show the sound.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the file is too big.
If you want to fix it, you can stop share screen and reshare it. But when you actually share it, click on the optimize for video. I think optimize sounds for video or something, and then it will work. It should work. Just tick on the two boxes at the bottom left corner.
Or you can copy the link and share on our platform as well, so we will have time to look at it as well. It looks interesting.
Okay, so I'm gonna copy the link and
yeah. So that would be the best way, because we are running out of time.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for listening. I'm very pleasure to be here.
Very impressed with your English as well. Very clear and spot on. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite Paul to give feedback.
Yeah, very good again. Like, unfortunate that the multimedia didn't work. I had the same thing with a parents conference about a month and a half ago. So I share your pain. What I would say, yeah, really nice talking about the key issues that are going on. I picked up on the kind of the mixed messages of flooding and drought that was in there. And I thought that was really interesting, because actually India and other places in the world are suffering from flooding and drought, which seem to be contradictory. They seem to go against each other, because how can you have flooding and drought? And often this is something used to confuse other people. And, you know, people saying, well, how can you have flooding and droughts? How can climate change cause these two things? And often used as, like I said, by politicians and businessmen and various other people to confuse people. But remembering that what we're talking about is extreme weather. And I think that was really good. You picked on coal as well, which is really important in terms of what we've done. So yeah, really good. Well done.
So thank you very much. And now I'd like to invite Ms. Trâm Nguyễn, who is a business teacher at FPT School, to give us 1 minute feedback as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mika. Thank you, Ms. Ken, again, for bringing me about the picture of India. I was so impressed that India has suffered a lot by the climate change like Vietnam. And I think you have bravo, because I think you search a lot of information, especially about the COP26, to find the solution and specific solution apply in India. And a special thing on your presentation is about you talk about the policy and explain why it is so important to apply this. And well done. Thank you, Megan.
Oh, thank you very much. And hi everybody, it's 4 of our presenters have done their job, and much better than we expected. And thanks to all our presenters have been putting a lot of efforts in sharing. And I can see Mr. Paul Easingwood with the very happy face there, that because he said the instruction to all the students, and you've done such a great job. And now we are heading into the debate. But before that, I would like everyone, while everything's still fresh, you still can go over to the comments and write the comment on number 4. And now I'd like to pull up the polls, and you can vote for the best the presenters of today. And then Hạnh Ngân, can you get ready and sing us a song before we can head over to our debate? And everyone's thank you very much for your patience. And now, if I would like to launch this one, and everyone, you can choose more than one, because I believe that it would be very hard for you to pick just one student, but you're allowed to vote more than one, and then whoever got the most vote will be the winner. So are you ready? You will see on the screen, and if you can help and vote, that'd be awesome. So I'd love to have more than 80%. So vote for the best presenters of your choice, and you can vote more than one. So we have the number 1, Tamang from Nguyễn Siêu School, number 2, William from Auckland Grammar, number 3, the team from Đào Duy Từ School, and number 4, Hoàng Kim Ngân from FPT School. And all our teachers can vote too. Everyone in the room can vote. Except us as co-hosts, we can't vote, but all the panelists, you can vote as well. And Hạnh Ngân, you can get ready for our song.
Yep.
And all the debate team get ready to and Mr. Paul will chair our debate competition today. So we have 66%. And are you here, Rachel? I would like to invite you to announce the winner of the most amazing presenter, if you are here in the room. And we have 70%. If you can try a little bit more, that'd be awesome. Hạnh Ngân, would you like to get started with your song now when everyone's voting? It would be lovely to hear you as well.
Since it's the end of November and we all know in December we have Christmas, which I'm really looking forward to because it's my favorite event of the year. Today I'll be singing a Christmas song called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Wow,
I hope you guys can hear my guitar. It'll probably be in the background, but whatever. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it close. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer's game. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, and won't you guide my old sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him, had to shout out with a glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Yep, that's part of Rudolph the
Thank
Red-Nosed
you
Reindeer.
very much. I can see a lot of messages here saying how beautiful you are, and it's wonderful to have Hạnh Ngân to be our Kiwi Buddy ambassador, who's behind the scene designing everything, absolutely everything for us. And Hạnh Ngân used to study at Cambridge High School, and now she's in Vietnam, and she's still there for us as well. And everyone, I noticed that when you listen to Hạnh Ngân singing, you stop voting. Need to vote, right? I have 75%, but we are running out of time also. But now I'm not sure if Rachel's here. Otherwise, I'd like to. Are you here, Rachel? I know that you have party behind the scene, but yeah, I'd like to invite Misuk. Like, Misuk would like to take this honor to.
I am here.
Yeah, the party behind the scene. Yeah, awesome. So we have 76%, but everyone just loved the music and they forgot me, like to vote. But I think we can announce the winner now. And Rachel, I'd like to invite you to announce the winner of the most amazing.
How do I find where the winner is?
Yeah, I'll do it now. Are you ready? I will do it now.
Oh yes. Okay, cool. Very exciting.
Awesome. 1, 2, 3, everybody. Now I can. 79%. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. So goes to Tam An from Nguyen Su High School.
Wow.
That's 51% of the vote on the topic of Russia was the country that she spoke about. The most amazing presenter. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yes. Tâm Anh, congratulations. You are the winner of the presentation today. Would you like to say a few words to us?
First of all, I'm really surprised with this result. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for your support. And yeah, today is kind of my opportunity to expand my knowledge and get to know more about people and, learn more about climate change through presentations. And I'm really happy. Thank you.
Yeah, so proud of you, and I'm sure that a lot of short teachers behind the scene there will be very, very happy as well. And thank you very much for Nguyễn Siêu team for supporting you and the students and be here with us today. So my aunt text me on the platform. I am the sponsor for the prize. So text me on the platform. Would love to get your bank account details and all other details as well. So certificate and the prize will be sent to you within 2 days after the event. Awesome, thank you everybody. And our second session of the presentation that have been completed, and thanks everybody. And now I'd like to head over to the debate, and everyone's waiting for that. So all right, Hạnh Ngân, would you like to share the screen for us with the debate rules as well? So the same with the debate, you use the same link, and you can comment on the debate team. Now it's my honor to invite Mr. Paul Easingwood, who's going to chair the debate competition today. And before we get started, I'd like Mr. Paul to go over the rules. You already got it, but let's do it together. Paul,
we'll just do a real nice quick session to get through it. So we're just going to speak with the affirming team. So those that think we should ban the worldwide use of fossil fuels will speak first. Then the first speaker for the negating, affirming second speaker, negating second speaker, affirming third, negating third. And then just for the last round, it switches around, and the team leader will speak first, and then the affirmative team will speak second. So nice and simple. Just try to stick within your time limits. I will make a random noise if you start to get over your time, because otherwise we could go on for quite a long time. So I'll make some random annoying noise if you talk for too long.
Yeah. And what I will do is that I will turn on the 2 minutes, and then when it's time's up, you will hear the sound as well. So now, Hạnh Ngân, would you like to go to the next page that I would like to introduce everybody that how many teams we have? So altogether we have 8 teams, and we have 4 pairs and 3 teams members in each, 3 members in each team. So in pair 1, we have Auckland Grammar School and Nguyễn Siêu. So you are in one pair together. And in pair 2, we have Olympia Schools and PIMS. So please get ready. In the pair 3, we have the Books and Actions and Cambridge High School. And in pair 4, we have Đào Duy Từ Schools and nhóm đồng hành, the student from nhóm đồng hành. All right, so all the teams, please get ready. And also all the audience, you are going to write comments, let's say hashtag Auckland Grammar, hashtag Nguyễn Siêu, and then later on we will vote for the best debating team. All right, let's go to the first, the next slide for me would be good. Great, Hạnh Ngân. Right, so now in pair 1, as you can see, Auckland Grammar School in the affirmative side, and Nguyễn Siêu on the negative side. And Auckland Grammar, we welcome 3 members, Lee, Rong Hua, and William. And in the Nguyễn Siêu team, we have Trâm, we have Khiêm, and we have Anh Đức. If you are already, please turn on your video and also your audio as well. So we will turn on our time when you're ready. All right, so can you please check in with Auckland Grammar? Are you ready?
Yep.
Yes, okay. And now we have like in Nguyễn Siêu School. Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Awesome. All right, now I'd like to hand over to Mr. Paul Easingwood. You are the boss of this competition, and I am the assistant. I'm going to look after the timer. All right. Let's do it. Would you like to take this one off the screen for me, please, so we can see our debaters?
So I'd like to welcome the first speaker for the affirming, please.
So hi, I'm Lee. I would like to walk through the economic costs and benefits of banning fossil fuels. So firstly, we all know that global warming is bad. It causes economic damages. It inflicts natural disasters. To take one example, in 2017, Hurricane Maria cost $91 billion worth of damages. Now, to take into that into perspective, one solar panel farm costs $300 million, and that can support like 1% of New Zealand's electricity use. So by avoiding that damage, we can rechannel those funds into renewable energy construction, thereby also preventing, climate worsening and then the occurrences of those natural disasters. And even like looking from a more personal perspective, if the fatalities of those disasters were a worker, then that is like one employee lost, and that's like less contribution to the economy. Assuming that worker is also a parent, then the income of that family can also be threatened, and then that leads to a further worsening of the economy. So in order to prevent such natural disasters related to climate change, we must set the target at 2028 to take immediate action so that such occurrences doesn't happen in the future, and we can use those funds in a more productive and efficient way. And even the personal cost, if that the person dying of that disaster was your parents or your children, then the psychological trauma isn't even quantifiable. It is just simply too immense for you to handle, and then that cannot be put with an economic value, but it is nevertheless important. And then finally, the COVID recovery funds that many countries are doing, they can be channeled into reshaping the economy. So it relies on clean energy. And then we don't get this opportunity to, have physical stimulus often. But given like the special circumstances that we're in, we can utilize that opportunity to channel those stimulus into the development of renewable energy so that it produces a better future outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I'd like to welcome the response for the negating team, please.
The adjudicators, my fellow teammates, and the opposing team. I am the first speaker of the opposing team, and the first speaker of the affirmative team didn't mention the definition of the motion today, so I will be doing that. The definition of our motion today is will we be permanently prohibit the use of fossil fuels in all industries and the production across the globe from 2028 onwards? And the concentration of our debate today is, should the elimination of fossil fuels be implemented by 2028? Before moving on to our first argument, I would like to offer a quick rebuttal on the first speech. Well, you have stated that we could switch to renewable energy in order to a better future, but according to a variety of experiments, renewable energy also causes natural disasters. The hydropower leads to flood and agriculture destruction, habitat loss, and killing many animals. And the agriculture damages also lead to farmers cannot make a living from producing crops, and they starve to death. Now, moving on to my first argument, which is the economic consequences that banning fossil fuels will bring about, which is the increase in the unemployment ratio. Millions of people are working in the fossil fuels industry, and they are relying on it for survival. As a result, banning fossil fuels will take away people's jobs for decades. To be more specific, the number of people that have a high possibility of going out of occupation is going through the roof because many workers have been trained for years. They are highly specialized and these skills are non-transferable, which leads to a mass of job losses for an extended period of time. And the economic imbalance.
Okay, start winding it up, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to ask the second speaker of the affirming team, please.
So I'm just going to list out the reasons that why I need to ban the worldwide use of fossil fuels from 2028. So we all know that the burning of fossil fuels is the most contributing factor of the global warming. Carbon dioxide, which is known as greenhouse gas, is released during the combustion of fossil fuels. The gas can lead to a rise in temperature in the atmosphere. The rise And the rate of rising temperature has now become a threatening factor for all of us to survive in the long term. If you compare the data of the world's average temperature before and after the Industrial Revolution, you'll see that before 1700s, after the world's temperature is maintained in a stable level, whereas from 1700s to the 21st century, the world's temperature just rises in an increasing rate. This is because fossil fuels are the products of Industrial Revolution. When people first discovered fossil fuels, they didn't work out the essence behind the appearance. Even though burning of fossil fuels can have a high energy output, which may save quite an amount of labor work, we didn't really realize the potential risks of that until nowadays. Now the reliance on fossil fuels worldwide is really high, but our generations just can't afford to wait, and we need some compulsory measures like banning completely the use of fossil fuels from 2028. Otherwise, our children and next generation will suffer more from the risks of burning fossil fuels. It is us who have made a mistake of mismanaging use of fossil fuels. So we got to take the responsibility ourselves, just like the entry to the Industrial Revolution, which is a great chapter of human history. What we need to do now is to deindustrialize a little bit for sustainable reasons. And what we must do is to ban the use of fossil fuels by 2028 and use more sustained substitution like solar power, etc. This is going to be a new era in human history. I'm confident that with the help of advanced technology, we are able to ban the use of fossil fuels, and we will.
Thank you very much. Okay. The second speaker of the negating team, when you're ready, please.
Yes, I will be the second speaker. And first, I want to point out that you guys saying the advantage of using more sustainable energy, but you guys didn't point out the possibility of doing it in the next 7 years. And I would state it why in the argument too, that we cannot switch entirely to using an alternative source of energy in the next 7 years. In the present day, 81% of America's energy main supply comes from fossil fuels. And according to International Energy Agency, coal contributes 1/3 of the global energy supply and makes up nearly half of the electricity production. It is stated that a lot of powerful countries are now still over-reliant on fossil fuels to maintain the same yield of production, and cannot be, and it has to be the main supply of energy for a much longer time. A lot of source of renewable energy only provides intermittent energy, which is basically nature reliant. It has low durability and are inconsistent in providing energy. And there are a lot of barriers that are presenting in many developed and developing countries in the market, lack of policies and regulations that favor the implementations of renewable structures, and also the technical barriers, which include countries with insufficient funds and inadequate technology apparatus, and also lack of infrastructure, which is necessary to support the technologies. Renewable energy is still extremely uncommon compared to fossil fuels. Also, in the recent studies, the education of like renewable energy or like education in general is still inaccessible for roughly 11% of the population in the world. And when it comes to high school, is approximately 60% of the globe. How does this 7-year period will be liable to seize these reality?
Thank you very much. Excellent. And final speaker or the last speaker, the third speaker for the affirming team, please.
Just to reiterate all the negating team's motion on how fossil fuels can provide jobs, new jobs can be created through the solar panel systems where we can produce factories. And these are transferable skills that can be interdisciplinary and renewable energy sector. So there's no claim that there can be no transition from the fossil fuel to the renewable energy. Now, thirdly, even if we do not have a goal, it's much better to have a set agreement on a date where we can start making change. No change is absolutely a stunt on the progress we've been doing so far. In New Zealand, we have over 80% of agricultural land that's available. And so building on the first member's speech, this agriculture expansion is clearly very viable. Now, onto the climate, on the benefits of curbing this climate change, is that there are a few areas such as affecting lifestyle, increase in diseases and pests, rising sea levels, premature deaths, droughts, crops, and so on. If we do not make a change on this, how are we sustaining a long-term future? How are we securing a long-term future for the earth? Are we really sacrificing short-term capitalism for the long-term sacrifice that the world is built upon? So by promoting sustainable businesses, by doing simple acts like recycling, we can always build more. Now, not only do we have a look at the drought side of it, the well-being of it, but we also have necessities such as clean water. 2 in every 3 people lives in water security. And without cutting down on these emissions and by curbing climate change, how are we going to allow much of our population to survive in this climate? And also, rainforests are completely valuable for us. They are we know them as the world's lungs, and they produce much of our habitats for not only us, but also other species that are endangered because of climate change. And also, lastly, we also need to breathe clean air. With all the emissions going on as a result of fossil fuels and building on the climate change notion, how are we going to allow us to survive in this air pollution that we have experienced?
Okay, thank you, William. Thank you. Sorry to cut you off. Okay, and our final third speaker for the negating thing.
Educators, affirmative team, and my fellow teammates, I would like to rebut on the third speaker of the affirmative team that you mentioned that the skills that people have in the fossil fuels industry are transferable, but we believe that this statement is false because it takes years to learn how to build solar panels. It takes years to learn how to build infrastructure and technology to provide the renewable energy. There are so many countries around the world, like my second speaker have stated, that are lack of education. How can those countries get access to learning how to build technology to provide themselves energy within the next 7 years? Moreover, you mentioned that people need to switch to renewable energy and other source of energy to have clean water, to have land, to have rainforests, to protect rainforests. However, renewable energy such as hydropower releases not carbon dioxide but methane, which is another type of greenhouse gas which can pollute the air pollution and can also cause global warming. Building infrastructure for renewable energy also require loss of land, and cutting down trees like that can create habitat loss for many wildlife, which is not a possible solution to protect the rainforest. Now, on our side of the world, we believe that banning fossil fuels by the next 7 years is impossible. Like our first speaker have stated, since we are so dependent on fossil fuels, illegalizing fossil fuels within the next 7 years will cut down so many jobs and take away the access to energy of poor countries because they cannot afford to switch to renewable energy, which is so much more expensive than fossil fuels within the next 7 years. Like our speaker have stated, we cannot completely entirely switch from fossil fuels to renewable energy because it takes money and time to completely transfer. So we believe that your arguments and your solutions are impossible, and you only gave us the advantages of renewable energy, which we believe that it has the same negative impact on environment as fossil fuels. However, you're not able to rebut on the advantages of fossil fuels. So therefore, we believe that our solution is better to not ban fossil fuels by 2028.
Thank you very much. Okay, just to summarize and just to go through the summary. The summary is just a 30-second. You shouldn't introduce anything new at this point. So it should just be a 30-second summary of why you think the argument should fall in the first place. or why you think the argument should stand for the affirming team. We're going to start with the negating team. So we actually go in reverse order for this section. So we're just looking for a brief, no more than 30 seconds, just summary of your main viewpoints in terms of why you are the negating team. So the negating team, please.
So, the main conflict of our debate today is the problem of changing to renewable energy. But every source of energy brings about a certain range of demerits. And why is everyone still using fossil fuels? Because it's cheaper, it's more efficient, and it brings about more benefits than other resources. And that's why we believe that your arguments are irrelevant to this topic, and our team performed better in this debate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And finally, I'd like the affirming team to summarize their viewpoint, please.
So in summation, we believe that banning fossil fuels by 2028 is economically compatible with our current goals of economic growth and long-term sustainable growth. Secondly, it is environmentally compatible. It produces significantly less emission than other fossil fuel energy sources. And finally, it is compatible with our long-term goal of preserving the human race rather than preserving the economic well-being of human race. Even though it comes at a short-term cost, we believe that is something that we should undertake.
Okay, thank you very much. I almost wish we had more time, because I think that could have been awesome if every speaker had about 5 or 6 minutes to talk there.
Next time
really could have got into some good depth.
Awesome, love it. Yeah, thank you very much. So all the audience, can you please write down the winner of the first pair? You write it down and take note, because it will keep save some information for you to do the voting towards the end. Well done, the first pair. Thank you very much. Such an effort. I can see that you are enjoying it very much now, Paul. Looks like we might be able to do a real one day. Okay, everybody. Now we are going to the second pair. Hạnh Ngân would like to screen share the second pair, please. And everyone, if you like to write feedback on the debating team, please head over to the comments link. Hạnh Ngân, where are you? Awesome, thank you. So the second pair, we have the Olympia School, Phương Nhi, Bảo Anh, Khánh Linh in your team for the affirmative. And also we have PIMS, An Trương, Tuần Tú, Dan Chang for the presenting PIMS. Can you please check in with us now? Olympia, are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Awesome, thank you. And PIMS, are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Awesome. All right, so let's take the screen off, and it's all over to you, Mr. Paul Easingwood.
Okay, so the debate topic remains the same, so we won't go through that again. So I'd just like to welcome the first speaker for the affirming team, please.
Olympia?
Maybe she's a little bit lagging.
You all good?
Sorry, here. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go straight to debate. So good morning, Mr. Madam Chairman and our fellow competitors. The topic of debate today is, should we ban the worldwide use of fossil fuel from 2028? And we, the affirmative team, truly believe that we should ban fossil fuel. And I'm gonna go to our points. First, I'm going to set out some definition to help with our points later on. Worldwide means reaching throughout the world. Ban is officially prohibited. Fossil fuel, and finally fossil fuel are natural fuels such as coal or gas, which form in the earth as decomposing plants and animal. To begin with, there are many reasons for banning fossil fuel. First and foremost, of course, prohibiting the use of fossil fuel will serve to mitigate the consequences of climate change. Aside from COVID, as many of you are aware, global warming is the most worrisome and concerning issue at the present.
Fossil fuels are utilized all across the world, from powering cars to supplying our everyday electricity. However, this brings us to our first point. By far, the most significant contributor to climate change is the use of fossil fuels. It emits a significant quantity of carbon dioxide during both the manufacturing and the use processes. Carbon, if I have to remind you, is the villainous component which contribute to global warming. It can cause pollution, rising sea level, temperature rising, heat waves, natural disasters such as drought or flood, causing hundreds of thousands of people to lose homes and lose their lives every year. It also majorly impacts countries' economy, from big countries like the US to smaller countries also. Are we really sacrificing the far-long future for the economic and the money at the moment? We need clean air, clean water, but these emissions won't really allow that. Changing from coal to any other options will help to virtually reduce.
Okay, thank you.
Needed. And thank you for listening.
Sorry for cutting you off. Thank you very much. And now I would like to welcome the first speaker for the negating team, please.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, could I start?
Yep, go when you're ready.
Okay, so thank you for your opinion. So according to The Guardian, the British news company, fossil fuels is enormously useful and massively valuable and hugely important. So, but tackling global warming by just not using fossil fuel, meaning that we're going to leave most of it under the ground by choice. And that is just not economically suitable. So although we hear a lot about green technology and renewable technology, the Earth doesn't care how many electric cars we have, what type of renewable energy we have. It only cares how much carbon dioxide, how much green gases that we are producing. So the solution here is not to ban, fossil fuels, but to slowly find a better alternative energy sources to tackle this solution. So yeah, so that's my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now I'd like to welcome the second speaker for the affirming team, please.
I'm here. So
okay,
can I start now?
Yep, when you're ready.
Okay. So good morning, Judge and the opposition side. I'm the second speaker from the affirmative team, and I strongly agree with this motion. I would like to reiterate the meaning of fossil fuels we have furnished at the origin, leading to our second point. Fossil fuel is natural fuel that form in the earth as a result of slowly decomposing plants and animals. These matters take an aggregate of about 500 million years. This implies that this takes a very long time to generate. Fossil fuels are non-renewable. That means it is a major problem for us, our children, and our grandchildren. Fossil fuels are predicted to run out in over 50 years. By the time, we could not use cars if we have not yet found a better method other than fossil fuels. The overconsumption of fossil fuels can culminate in the environment, with their production and usage generating a lot of carbon dioxide. Carbon causes melting ice and thermal expansion. So the other sides mentioned about the better solution. So we will let the speaker free of our sides to mention it. So which means that many countries are in critical dangers of sinking in the ocean, and not in 100 years, right at this moment. Countries and people are sinking. The Netherlands already had half of their lands under the sea levels. If this goes on, sooner or later, lands will disappear. According to research, by 2050, all southern of Vietnam, and by all, I mean the entire southern part, including Ho Chi Minh City, could disappear and drown in water. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Okay, and I'd like to now welcome the second speaker for the negating team, please.
Yes, hello everyone. So I will say you some my opinion. I agree with your opinion, but besides that, I have a few opinions from my point of view. In my point of view, banning the worldwide use of fossil fuels from 2028 is impossible because of the following this point. If we completely ban the use of fossil fuels, what could happen to huge numbers of laborers if all vehicles and machines could not use fossil fuels? All miners, petrol staffs, all of them will be unemployed. There are people who don't have professional expertise or professional training. If they lost their career in the future, it's really hard for them to find another job because they have to compete with a more dynamic and talented new generation. And that may lead to mass job losses on the worldwide scale. Maybe people will come up with some solutions such as training professions or new jobs, but in reality, the number of new jobs that the future can create to replace fossil fuels jobs is too small. For example, it's not possible for too many miners to concentrate on switching to zipper or taxi drivers, as that would lead to a surplus or labor in a field or industry. Therefore, in my opinion, we can only limit the exploitation and use of fossil fuels, but not completely ban them. So it's my opinion about this topic. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. So I would like to now welcome the third and final speaker for the affirming team, please.
Yeah, hello, I am the third speaker from Olympia, and to say we were talking about job loss. In our research, air pollution caused by fossil fuels is considered to be the cause of 1.8 billion days of absence of workers globally each year, causing economic loss about 1.1 billion USD. Furthermore, a report by the International Labour Organization found that 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in temperature by the end of the century would reduce working hours by 2.2% by 2030, the equivalent of about 80 million full-time jobs. This will cost the global economy about $2.4 trillion. We're really questioning, we question if it's really important. If it's okay to lose 80 million jobs and consider to the amount that we will lose if we ban for the use of fossil fuels worldwide. There are other alternatives for fossil fuels. Clean energy technology have come a long way in the last 20 years. It now produces approximately 11% of all energy in the US, and infrastructure is growing, fast to allow it to take over further greater percentage. This means that in 7 years, it's fossil fuel with alternatives such as solar energy, wind energy, and water energy. There are also many other alternative plans of action that are already being produced to reduce climate change. But when comparing the changes that were made with the amount of greenhouse gas that we keep on emitting every day, every moment, every second, it is nothing. And the fact, if we banned the use of fossil fuels in 2008 worldwide, it will give us a chance to finally work on fixing the problem that is in hand, rather than reducing the damages and limiting what it is that we are continuing.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I'd just like to now ask the two final speakers just to do a quick 30-second summary. Oh, sorry, no, I've got one more to go, sorry. The third negating speaker. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself there.
Yeah, and
sorry, third negating speaker.
Everybody, can you increase the volume, because the last debater we cannot hear very clearly. All right, are you there, Kampu? No, we cannot. Cannot hear you.
Okay, so are you
All
hearing
right.
now?
Yes, awesome. So 2 minutes.
Okay.
Start now.
So I'm sorry for my inconvenience. Turn on my camera because my camera is broke.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No
So I'm
problem.
going to present now. So you say that we can replace fossil fuel with other renewable energy resource. However, there are no many research that prove it is a long-term solutions. Not to mention changing the energy resource with energy resource like you call this clean energy. Take a very long time. So we think that from now until 2028, that cannot be sufficient time. Moreover, the cost during this process had add up to huge numbers. Should we trade off money, time for research that we don't know is really useful? Whether put it in practice? This answer is absolutely no. Let me give you an example. Sorry. The world's first solar-powered electric car prototype that has been launched by EV startup Netherlands. Lightyear, the car is called Lightyear 1, but are they really popular in the world? And are they really the first of the buying customer? The answer is not really common yet. So that's why I think ban using fossil fuels in 2028 is impossible. That is our team point of view. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And so we'll just stick with the negating team, and we'll just do our 30-second summary of your points, please. Do we have someone from the negating team to summarize your points for 30 seconds?
Have we got the last of affirming team yet?
Yep.
Oh, we're here.
Yes.
So because like my teammates are a little bit lagged, so can you let the opposition side start first?
Okay, so you want us to go with the affirming team first?
Bảo Anh, would you like to go ahead?
Okay. So our final conclusion, all of our team points that have in these debates are global warming, about carbon dioxide and impacts of the drowning cities. Number 2 is about the fossil fuels are limited. Next idea is about the alternatives of fossil fuels and the importance of eliminating all other fossil fuels. About the opposition sides, you didn't rebut all our points. You didn't rebut about the points that the sinking cities and the alternated fossil fuels. Also, it's not really fluent and you went too much of the topics. So thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much. And the final summary for the affirming team, please.
Yes. So our team will agree with your comments. However, instead of banning like using fossil fuel, I think we should come up with solutions to limit it because it is a process. Therefore, I think until we can come up with permanent solutions, it is possible for our to like ban the use of fossil fuel worldwide in 2028. That's our point of view. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So the second pair has completed their debate, and the audience, can you please just write down the winners of the second pair, and then we will head into the voting very soon. And now, Hạnh Ngân would like to screen share the third pair, please. So the third pair. All right. Books and action. And we have quite Tu Yen, Tu Hian from affirmative team. And also we have Cambridge High School on the negating team. We have Cody, Ellen, and Nhật Thai. Are you all ready, guys? Can you please check in? Books in action, are you here?
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
Yes.
Please today we want to have problem with the network collection, so I will to debate with everyone.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you.
Thank
And
you so much.
Cody, are you ready on the Cambridge High School team?
Yeah, I am, and I'll be doing the second round and also the conclusion if Nhật doesn't do it.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. It's over to you, Paul. And the audience, please prepare writing your feedback on each team as well.
Okay, without further ado, I'd just like to hand over to the affirming team for their first speaker, please. So when you're ready.
Yes. Okay. So, well, fossil fuels are a type of energy resource from over millions of years from remains of dead plants and animals pure underneath sediment and rock. Fossil fuels are used throughout the world to power everything from cars to lights in the home. According to my studies, there are three major types of fossil fuels that currently exist: coal, oil, and natural gas. A big question arises for all of us here, which is, are they really safe and reliable for long-term use? And should we ban fossil fuels worldwide from 2028? From our perspective, we completely agree with this idea that we should prohibit the worldwide use of fossil fuels from 2028 onward because of the following reason. First and foremost is the long-term and severe environmental degradation caused by fossil fuels. The burning of fossil fuels produces air pollutants such as soot and smoke. It also is responsible for global warming. Besides, the burning of fossil fuels creates toxic substances that are very harmful to plants, animals, and various monuments. One of the clearest examples of large-scale accidents with the main cause of fossil fuels can be mentioned is the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Well, on April 20, 2010, the oil-drilling Deepwater Horizon operating in the Macondo prospect in the Gulf of Mexico exploded and sank, resulting in the death of 11 workers on the Deepwater Horizon and the largest spill of oil in the history of marine oil drilling operations. Thank you for listening.
I'll mute myself. Thank you very much. And I'd like to now welcome the first speaker for the negating team, please.
Hello, my name is Nhật. I'm the first speaker of my team. So on behalf of our team, I think that to say that we have to ban all fossil fuel use is practically and economically is impossible. There may be some unexpected consequences, like for example, it's not easy to force coal and oil companies and a lot of money on building infrastructure. Many businesses will die, which will lead to the loss of numerous jobs, even if alternative jobs are reduced in the process. There is completely no doubt that fossil fuels have helped create numerous jobs in the fields of finance, administration, and construction. Fossil fuels generate hundreds and thousands of jobs every year. First speaker said, I don't think it's kind of safety procedures of the company like in every jobs we have many accidents and we can't stop that, and that's all what I'm going to say, what I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a little bit of lagging on your video, but I think we got some of the key points there. So I'd like to ask the second speaker for the affirming team, please, to speak when you're ready.
I'm in, and let me come to the second point. By being the cause of negative effects and impacts on the environment, they can also directly affect our human health. From the electricity that lights your home to the car you drive to work, modern life has relied on fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. But
Burning them release air pollutants, which increase the risk of health from the heart disease, lung cancer, and respiratory disease in exposed individuals. And it has been proven that those who live in high traffic areas are at higher risk for disease affecting the respiratory tract and mental health. For instance, according to WHO, 7 million premature deaths annually are linked to air pollution. The most affected individuals can be said to be those who live and work in the mines. Foresting for coal in coal mines can be very dangerous and can cause as many as hundreds of people's deaths every single year. And that's my point. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very, very much. Some really interesting new points in that bit there. So I'd like to welcome the second speaker for the negating team, please.
So hi, my name is Cody. I'm going to be the second speaker. And first of all, I would want to say that yes, fossil fuels, when they burn, they do cause pollutants to, to be expelled, and that is incredibly bad for humans. But you do have to consider that it is almost impossible to do that, the topic of this debate, in such a short period of amount of time. To say that we have to ban all use is practically and economically impossible, especially in a given amount of time. We have to somehow cut all use in 7 years. And well, let's say that, we somehow found out that water apparently does something bad to us, and now we have to use alternatives in, a span of 7 years. That is theoretically impossible to do, because, well, you can't just invent a new thing and test it for safety and then wait for the price to drop in such a short amount of time. And furthermore, there are so many industries that relies on the existence of fossil fuels to, even to survive. Silicon market, the phone industry, the tech industry, medical supplies and mass productions. Without fossil fuels, those things will not exist. They will cease to exist almost immediately when the ban comes into effect. And banning all fossil fuel use means that these, really, really big industries have to create an entirely new solution and, test it rigorously throughout the span of 7 years, which is just, well, it makes no sense. It makes me go speechless because it is impossible to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Cody. Sorry, I was muting myself again. To the final speaker of the affirming team, please.
Thank you. To follow the opinions about abolishing the fossil fuels, I would like to present the third point. The fossil fuels is highly susceptible to price fluctuations and market manipulations because today they are running out. The price of fossil fuels displays first the cost of producing the fuels and in the environment cost. Moreover, a number of Middle East countries in the world process suffers amount of fossil fuels, which account for 60% of the world's productions. The rest of the world depends on the country to fulfill gap between demand and supply in these countries. This means supply higher price for fossil fuels, cost price today as at record price. This makes the poor and developing country can afford to use. According to Environment America, the United States will spend an estimated $23 trillion on fossil fuels between 2010 and 2030. That's equivalent to 3 years worth of income for the entire American workforce as current earning rates. So it has tended to reduce alternatives and risk. Therefore, low output fear of strikes by trade unions and the scarcity of fossil fuels. Can this feel in schools why privatizations prohibiting fossil fuel from 2028 resolutions? Thank you for listening.
Really good.
Thank you very much. And to our third and final speaker for the negating team, please.
Hello, and I'm Alan, and I'm the third person from negative team. And now I will start. According to Forbes, the energy that the world uses in 2019 consisted of 84% from fossil fuels, and the rest are renewables and nuclear. Renewable energy have some disadvantages. Wind energy needs huge investment and a large area that is preferably not near to civilization, also dependent on unreliable source. Not every country can utilize solar panel. There must be some kind of investment or subsidy. It is not easy for people to change from one type of energy to another and one so abruptly. This will be a big problem in funding with most in government. Nuclear energy is a long-term investment that barely a government want to commit to. It also have overcome a negative views in public have on it. Hydroelectricity cannot be built everywhere. Only places where there are large body of water running through unpopulated area. Most cities won't consider hydro because of its geographical requirement. And according to Global Wind Energy Council, in 2020, the world produced 743,000 megawatts on wind energy. But in summer 2021, Hanoi alone used up 81,702 megawatts of electric energy per day. They can use all wind energy that is produced by the entire world in only 9.1 days, which show that this is not just a good means of mass energy production. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Some really good data brought into that. So finally, I'd just like the negating team to summarize, just 30 seconds, please, no more, just a real brief summary of your main point.
Yes, can I speak, please?
Yep.
So our main point is that, yes, green energy can be implemented, but just not right now, especially not in such a short amount of time, like 7 years. It is a lot more practical to limit the use of fossil fuels and use fossil fuels alongside with the renewable and sustainable and eco-friendly sources. To stop all use fossil fuels in 2028 would be a complete disaster to the global economy and stability, which would make the problem even worse, really.
Okay, thank you, Cody. Thank you, Cambridge. And the affirming team, your brief summary, please.
And to summarize the main points of my argument, raising awareness of negative health impacts both locally and globally, abolishing fossil fuel is urgently needed, both at the local and national level. So governments should not regulate and implement measures to limit the production of use of fossil fuels. So that's why we believe we win this debate. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
All right, that's awesome. So guys, can you thanks all the teams, Cambridge and Books and Actions. You've done a great job. And the audience, can you please write down the winner of this debate for pair 3? And now we are having a few minutes left, and I would like to invite pair 4. Hang on, would you like to screen share pair 4? So thank you very much. So we have Đào Duy Từ team, Thảo Ánh, Đỗ Thu Trang, Tú Linh. Can you check in, please? And we have nhóm đồng hành. We have Phương Lan, Nguyễn Gia Tuệ Linh, Hoàng Gia My in the negating team, and Đào Duy Từ on the affirmative team. Are you guys there?
Yeah, we here.
So Đào Duy Từ, right? Okay, awesome. And the second team, nhóm đồng hành. Are you here, guys? Yes. Oh, awesome. All right, let's do it. Okay, the Paul is over to you.
Okay, thank you. So without further ado, as we would say in England, I will go on to the affirming team's first speaker, please.
So we have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm here,
2 minutes,
and we should start. The Amazon has been burning for months, and the Arctic has been melting for decades. And people are in jeopardy because of the release of fossil fuel. That is why we are here to support a new global policies in order to ban the worldwide use of fossil fuels from 2028. Is it possible that these legal restrictions will be a great benefit in terms of protecting the environment, especially how to mitigate the effects of climate change? Firstly, consuming a large amount of fossil fuels appears to be a major factor contributing to the more severe climate change. And there is sufficient evidence that the main reason why fossil fuels cause so much damage is due to the amount of carbon dioxide when they are burned, in which coal burning is believed to contribute to 44%, and natural gas is responsible for around 20% of carbon emission, and the CO2 burning and release is a significant contributor to the greenhouse effect and climate change. Unfortunately, all the hazardous sustained are also emitted when fossil fuels are burned, which results in air pollution and smoke. Acid rain is also caused in the burnings of fossil fuel. Furthermore, from now to 2028, there are still 7 years for people in all parts of the globe to replace their everyday use of fossil fuel with alternative energy source and take VinFast electric vehicle, for example. They are launched in the US to aim for green country by building sustainable development of other resources. And when applied on a mass scale, the price will certainly change to match the spending levels of people. If banded laws are enforced, each country will have the supportive strategies for residents and business to reduce the cost when using alternative energy. In such a case, it is highly justifiable to improve this law banning fossil fuel.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'd like to now welcome the first speaker for the negating team, please. When you're ready.
Đồng Hành. Are you ready?
Miss, I'm the first speaker from the negative team.
Awesome.
And yeah, and Phương Lan.
Chưa mẹ, lâu quá. Cháy chương trình đến gần tiếng rồi đó.
Can I start right now?
Yep. Start when you're ready. Yep.
Okay. So first, hello. I'm the first speaker from the negative team, and first, I would like to say that, strictly speaking, fossil fuels are renewable resources, and they are continually being formed via natural processes as plants and animals die and then decompose and become trapped beneath the sediment. However, fossil fuels are generally considered to be non-renewable resources because they take millions of years to form, and no viable reserves are being depleted much faster than new ones are made. So according to the first speaker from the affirmative team, replacing fossil fuels with renewable resources like wind turbines or electrical energy costs a lot of money, and not every country has enough finance to invest in it. For example, just only USA and China and other developed countries, they have enough money to build the wind turbines, and they have enough money to replace fossil fuels with large systems of renewable energy. And moreover, fossil fuels, in my opinion, is not the main point that causes climate change, because if we use fossil fuels along with trees, along with planting trees and doing environmental green activities, it will lessen the ratio of having climate change. So now let's get to my argument. My main idea is that a result of banning fossil fuels is a decrease in the economy, markets, and businesses. So yes, banning fossil fuels will give us green air to breathe, like what she said, but its loss will not be small. For example, not every country in the world has enough money
I'm going to have to stop you there, I'm afraid.
Thank you for
over
listening.
2 minutes, so thank you very much. And I'd like to welcome the second speaker for the affirming team, please.
Hello, have a nice day. So I'm gonna tell you about the second reason why we should ban the use of fossil fuel in 2028 is this energy resource is cause serious environmental pollution, especially water pollution. Refineries also have negative impact on aquatic environments, especially the exploitations of oil. Crude oil is transported by tankers. These activities require the burning of traditional fossil fuel. In particular, there are many cases of ship sinkings causing oil spill that seriously impact on the marine environment and the sea creatures. In addition, the exploitation of oil on land also has significant effect on the environment. Oil extractions will directly affect both surface and underground water systems. If the water source is contaminated with oil, it will harm and directly affect human health. Accordingly, thanks to modern technology today, that there's many types of water purifiers available to serve and ensure people's health. When exposed to oils for a short time, human body have notable reactions like skins, eyes, and nose irritations. These are the organs that come into direct contact when the oil is in the waters. In addition, it can adversely affect to the respiratory systems, digestive systems, and even damage the nervous systems. Therefore, researchers have now intense nano water purification technologies. This is a line of water purifiers with modern technologies that will help us to filter out dirt, heavy metal, as well as oil in the water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Almost perfect timing as well. Excellent. And I'd now like to welcome the second speaker for the negating team, please.
Yes.
When you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings. My name is Kendall, and I'm here to tell you that we should stop using fossil fuels and other minerals after 2028. First and foremost, fossil fuels are one of the most important things we use in our daily lives. Almost no one could ever completely eradicate fossil fuels because once they were invented, there was no going back, and they were all put to use in various fields and necessary things. Fossil fuels are a renewable resource in the strictest sense. Natural processes are constantly forming them when plants and animals die, rot, and become imprisoned beneath sediment. However, because fossil fuels takes millions of years to develop and known viable stocks are exhausted considerably quicker than new ones are created, they are widely considered non-renewable sources. Coal, oil, and natural gas are three types of fossil fuel that can all be used to generate energy. In comparison to the whole energy system, fossil fuels make for a far lower portion of worldwide power output. Fossil fuels contributed about around 64% of our electricity in 2019. The global share of power generated by fossil fuels is depicted in this interactive map: coal, oil, and gas combined. Despite having only 5% of the world's population, the United States is responsible for almost a quarter of all global fossil fuel emissions. Between 1990 and 2003, energy-related emissions in the United States climbed by 16%. The burning of fossil fuels has accounted for about 75% of human-caused greenhouse gas emissions since 1998. The fossil fuel business currently employs more than 2 million people in the United States. Fueling stations and convenience stores account for the vast bulk of such jobs. From all the information that I previously stated, I'm hereby to conclude that we should not ban the use of fossil fuels worldwide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and a really nice ending there. So I'd now like to welcome our final speaker of all the debates, for the final two speakers, should I say. So the third speaker, the affirming team, please.
Hi, I'd like to say that I am the third speaker of the affirmative team, and I will be displaying my reasons of why we should put a ban on fossil fuels. So as you may know, fossil fuels have been formed for about 300 to 400 years ago from the corpses of animals, and also coal has been formed from the remains of trees in wetlands or rocks that has been affected from the heat from the center of the earth since BC. Even if fossil fuels continue to not cause pollution and eventually even if fossil fuels contribute to global warming without causing pollution, we will not be able to rely on them forever. This is because fossil fuels cannot be generated, or rather it cannot be regenerated fast enough to meet the human needs. Fossil fuels takes millions of years to form deep underground, and it will have to take us a long time to wait for the materials to form. With this current rate of exploration and utilization, fossil fuels are likely to run out unless we change and find other new sources of energy. Even if there are enough fossil fuels for us to continue using in the future years, having access to it will become more difficult and expensive. Not to mention, it can also be very harmful to the environment. For example, when people extract natural gas, a method called hydraulic fracturing is used to pump the chemical solution into the earth to push the gas out. This process releases dangerous pollutants to the earth, which can penetrate water supplies and causes human health problems. This is the end of my speech.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to now welcome our final speaker for the negating team, speaker number 3, please. When you're ready.
Did you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Imagine having access to fossil fuels, but no one wants to utilize them since they are harmful to the environment. If that's the case, why were fossil fuels invented in the first place? Hello, my name is Chu Feng Lan, and me and my team strongly believe that fossil fuels should not be banned. Fossil fuels are determined in certain ways and good in others, according to our first speaker. Yes, fossil fuels are dangerous, because they emit poisonous gases, but they are becoming more safer every day. And what good are they if we don't use them? It's a waste of space if there are lots of them and no one uses them. One possible answer is to reduce the amount of corn oil used, but not to completely eliminate them in the large enterprises that needed them. Furthermore, if they are banned, 80% of the Earth's power will be lost, leaving less than half of the energy available to use. Fossil fuels are renewable resources anyways, since as animals or plants die, they turn into fossil fuels, though they aren't really called renewable resources because they take million years to form, and killing them is much faster than forming them. 3 types of energy could be used: coal, oil, and natural gases. The other team had tried to tell you that this creates pollution, but I think this is wrong because yes, they do make pollution, but they give more energy in one place than renewable resources, and it's cheaper than purchasing a huge turbine used to make wind or water energy. Overall, me and my team strongly believe that we shouldn't ban fossil fuels because of the various reasons above. Thank you for listening and goodbye.
Thank you very much. Awesome. And so I'd like to welcome back a speaker from the negating team just to summarize your overall arguments just for 30 seconds, please. So when the negating team are ready, just a 30-second conclusion, please.
Oh, okay. So overall, me and my team strongly believe that we shouldn't ban the fossil fuel usage for them for the reasons above. Thank you for listening, Charity.
Thank you very much. And our final speaker for today's debates, I'd just like to welcome back a member of the affirming team just to summarize and conclude the points.
So to conclude, in our opinion, there should be a worldwide ban on fossil fuels, as taking action sooner will prevent more causes and bad things from happening. That's the end of our debate speech. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much. So that concludes our debates today. So a big thank you to all of the people competing. I thought it was really good. I thought the standard was really high. Like I said, it was almost a shame there wasn't more time. I think the scope and direction was really good in terms of the way that it went. People looking at extraction, transportation, technology, fossil fuels not being the only issue at play here. The speed of change and the requirements of that, reskilling the workers in that sector, even through to fracking and cost effectiveness. So there's some really excellent points there, and I've been really impressed with the standard of the debating. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, just so amazing to see all of the students debating on the matter of climate change. And it's just amazing. And thank you, everyone. Now we are going to, you just listen to Mr. Paul giving you feedback. I just wonder if Dương here from Institute would like to give 1 minute's feedback on all of the teams, if you are still here.
Yeah. Okay. So all very interesting arguments, all very interesting points and counter arguments that you have brought. Obviously, fossil fuel plays a very important role in our lives right now, and to set a 7-year goal to completely replace fossil fuel with green energy might sound a bit optimistic, if not to say that it might be impossible. A lot of points that you guys brought up are very true and very interesting. Obviously, fossil fuel have a major impact on climate change itself, but in order to replace it, there are also numerous questions pop up that we need to answer. I like that you guys have brought up some very realistic expectation when to set the goal, or even when you mentioned that the job transitioning will be tough. We cannot just say that by completely replacing fossil fuel, we can just supply with new jobs. It will take time to train, and newer renewable energy will also come at a cost as well. Obviously, you guys know about lithium battery and the cobalt mine. So that's a lot of good points that you guys have brought up. And overall, I'm very happy to see this level of research and to see this level of engagement from all the teams.
Well done. Thank you very much. And we are just like it takes very long time today, but you guys are very amazing. So now to wrap up, put everything in terms of the most important, I'd like to invite everyone, please vote for our the debates. Oh, sorry, what have I done here? The debate here, debate competition. Oh, already on here. Okay, thank you guys. For some reason it comes up. So all right, so can you please vote for me for the best debating team? You can choose more than one. So well done, everybody. And while we are waiting, hang on, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you very much. And now, what would you like to sing us a song, or would you like to Melody to play music while we are waiting? And also, yeah,
just go on.
Yeah, I also would like to check with me, so if you have the if you can announce the prize today for the writing and the best comments, because I can see the student submitting their comments. If you are not ready, we can take time to read through all the writings from the students today to choose the winners.
Hi, Na, we are ready. We have one student for the comments and the other ones for the master writers.
So we will announce that after the debate here. Awesome. So thank you guys. Thank you for waiting, and we will have all the prizes winners today to announce to all of our audience and teachers. So it's amazing. I know that you're all hungry, and it's 6 p.m. in New Zealand as well. So we have 83%. So awesome. So it's amazing. So I will end the poll now, and I would like to invite Mr. Paul Easingwood back. You've done an awesome job today supporting our students to announce the winners. It will be a very long list, so if you can go from the top to the bottom, and then we make sure that we don't miss anyone. Are you ready, Paul?
Yeah, born ready.
So 83%, so I'm very happy about that. So there you are. I end the poll, right? And I share the result and everyone's. And now I will read and then Paul can look. So Nguyễn Siêu School 38%, Auckland Grammar School 30%, Olympia School 30%, Pins 16%, Books in Action 22%, Cambridge High School 28%, Đào Duy Từ 32%, and nhóm đồng hành 30%. Right, over to you, Paul.
So it's very, very close, but as far as I can see, I think NSS for the winner with 38%, but very, very tight. So congratulations to them.
Well done, thank you very much. And we have the winner of the debate today, and everyone, you've done an awesome job. So the prize of the best debating team goes to Nguyễn Siêu School. And would you like to say anything to us, Nguyễn Siêu School?
I think we are really surprised with it. We are really surprised with the result, because we don't think that we can win this.
Wow, but you have. So congratulations and thank you very much, everybody. So we will be in touch, and text me on the platform as well. So I will prepare that our team will prepare. Will prepare the certificate and also the prize sent to you as well. So thank you. And now I'd like to, now we go to the next prizes announced by Misuk and Rachel. Would you like to take over, please, Rachel and Misuk?
I'll let Misuk announce the winners. It was really hard, to be honest. There's some excellent writers out there, so it took us a little while to read through them all, but I think we've got a couple of winners that we'd like to announce. So I'll hand it over to Misuk to do.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Rachel and I, we were talking and we couldn't find one solution, but we had to. So I'm just going to share with you guys. So the winner for the comments, An Ha Phong. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing properly. An Ha Phong.
Okay, Anh Hà Phương, if you're still here, can you say it? Anh Hà Phương. Is that Hà Phương Anh? Oh, okay. Hi, how are you? Would you like to say hello to us? Say
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Really beautiful writing.
Thank you. I think all the teams did very well, so it was fairly easy for me to give good feedback for them.
Wow, thank you very much. Yeah, so Phương Hà Anh, can you please text me on the platform as well for your best comments? Lovely, thank you. And over to you, Misuk. We have the
and the master writer, Lu Kiai Hui. Lu Gi Hui. Sorry again for my pronunciation.
Yeah.
L-U. Yeah. P-I-A-I. Yep. H-Y-U.
Okay, Lu Zai Hui. If you are still here, can you say hello to us, please? If not, Lu Zai Hui. Okay, so if you're not here, I will be in touch with you and try to find your name on the platform. Lovely, thank you very much. And
one of the reasons that we chose him is because he talked a lot about New Zealand in the end, and I think that like was a clincher, you know, to link it back to us here in New Zealand. So I really enjoyed reading his comments.
Wow, that's awesome. So thank you very much. So Lu Zai Hui from FPT High School. Miss Trâm Nguyễn said, you would like to say a few words for us. Miss Trâm Nguyễn on behalf of Lu Zai Hui.
Thank you, Miss Nga. Thank you for Kiwi to this prize for FPT High School. And I think he does well because he shows many information, and I think he has a good opinion about the topic you sent. And congratulations, Hui. And thank you, organization and Kiwi.
So thank you very much. And I think the last prize is going over to the most engaging students to be voted by Mr. Paul. So I just wonder, because you've been so busy today, I'm not sure like if you have any idea of who you would like to choose for this prize.
I think they've all been. I think they all deserve a prize because they've all been so good. But I think it's almost too hard for me to select at this point. So I might have to hand over to my fellow colleagues to make a final call on that one.
Oh, okay. So who do you? Rachel, Miko?
Oh, what are we doing? The best debater.
The student can choose. The student can choose. Oh my goodness, how can you do that?
Oh, that was really hard. I was actually looking for a time. Just a minute, I'm just on the phone. I have a 4-year-old asking for food. This has gone way too long.
yeah. We finished.
Anyway, if when I was listening to the debate, one young lady stood out to me quite a lot. Nguyen Gia to Lin.
Ling. Okay, who is that?
Yeah, L-I-N-H.
L-I-N-H. Yeah, Ling. I can see so many links in here.
Yeah. So Nguyen is her surname.
Yeah.
Gia, G-I-A, T-U-E-L-I-N-H.
Hey, I know Miss Tuệ Linh. Awesome.
I liked her. I thought her enunciation was really good. She was really clear in her her talk, and yeah, she just I enjoyed listening to her, and I think that's a part of a good debater is actually you draw the audience in. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very,
That's
very much.
who I would choose.
Thank you for even remember her name. Well done.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, awesome. So impressed. Yeah. Okay, so all right. Nguyễn Gia Tuệ Linh, are you still here? Would you like to say hello and thanks to Miss Rachel? It's awesome, and thank you, Rachel, for that. It's amazing. Nguyễn Gia Tuệ Linh, are you still here?
She just said she cannot speak up.
If you're not, now thank you, everybody. This we have done such an awesome job today. Like Mr. Paul and Rachel, Misuk, all the students and all the teachers, and Mr. Dương from Nguyễn Siêu staying right to the end to give us feedback, and all our teachers and students today, and everybody. You have been amazing, and it's very late from in Vietnam and New Zealand. So now everyone just come up and say goodbye to each other, and at the same time, I'd like to invite Hạnh Ngân. Would like to sing us a song, and yeah, we can have some refreshing moments.
Okay. Before I start with the ending song, I just would like to thank everyone for today, because I really thought everyone was super invested in what they are doing today, and it's great planning. Like I see a lot of people doing like true research on the problem they're presenting, and I think that's amazing work to do, because you know, even at school, sometimes we don't feel like we are obligated to do that much. But for an event just like this, and you guys prepare so much and put so much effort in, we really appreciate it. So from the Kiwi Buddy team, thank you all so much for today.
Thank you.
So yeah, maybe do you guys want another Christmas song since Christmas is coming? And I'm like obsessed with Christmas. So I'm gonna sing Jingle Bell Rock. I think you guys will know the song. They're all Christmas classics, and I hope you guys have a nice day, whether you are in New Zealand or in Vietnam.
Awesome, thank you.
Jingle bells, jingle bell rocks. Jingle bells swing and jingle bell ring. Snowing and blowing on bushel of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bells, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bells time is a swell time to go gliding in the one-horse sleigh. Oh, giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet and jingle around the clock. And mix and a mingle in the jingling feet. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. So yeah, that's the Jingle Bell Rock. And I hope you guys have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again very soon with amazing topics that we can discuss on. So
Wow, awesome. Thank you very much. And it's amazing. What a treat for us. And I hope everyone enjoy that. And we all love you. You have beautiful voice. And she's going to have a new album or new YouTube going to be released very soon. So we can't wait to hear all of that. So yeah, I'd like to invite Rachel to say a few words for everybody before we can say goodbye. Sorry, Rachel, are you there? Or Niso?
Mute. Sorry, I'm here.
Yes, you're back. Yes. Yeah, we are going to start. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I had to unmute myself. Thank you so much, Na. And the Kiwi Buddy program is amazing. We're so glad to be able to present today and be part of this experience and to see so many awesome students. And it's really inspiring, to be honest. So we're really proud to have been part of this today. So thank you very much for everyone who's participated and listened in and also done comments. It's been really great. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you very much. And before we go, everyone, we have little Melody waiting to play us a song as well. So we all can, after this, we all can go and
you must, yeah, you must send the YouTube link once we have when she's live.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, Melody, would you like to play us the piece of music, and then we all can say goodbye. Melody, are you there? Are you there, Melody?
Yes, she's here. She's ready.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. absolutely stunning, and thank you very much, Melody. It's beautiful. What a way to farewell and say goodbye to all of our school partners, students, and our teachers and friends, and amazing. We had such an awesome time. It's amazing, and thank you. And yeah, so everybody, it's the end of our event today, and see you again on our next Sunday is the English Club, and the topic is positive mindset. So it will be very great way for us to practice our English and also learn some tips as well. So thank you, everybody, and see you at another event. Awesome, thank you. Let's say goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all the teams as well behind the scene, and thanks, John, and everyone. It's amazing. From Đào Duy Thừa and Olympia, all of our school partner, Nguyễn Siêu, you are amazing. Thank you. FPT High School, Auckland Grammar, you are absolutely amazing today. Nhóm đồng hành, books and action, and have good lunch, have good dinner, and enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good luck, everyone.
See you next Sunday. Positive mindset. Thank you.